Hello friends, welcome to Universe of Naruto X. If you love Naruto what if stories and anime explanations, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Now let's begin today's story. Three spinning Thomas converged into the center of his iris and morphed into a black six-pointed star with a red circle. In the center, out of this points, black flower petals shot out. All 105 centuries in the building dropped to the floor unconscious. Hina thought as he walked into the building interrupted by any annoying guards. When he entered Gado's office, the man was already shaking in fear. "What do you want?" he cried. "Nothing much except you will sign your whole company over to me," Naruto said nonchalantly. God looked at him like he had grown a second head. This kid wanted him to sign the multi-trillion Rio shipping company over to him. "Are you crazy?" God asked, forgetting what the kid just did to all his guards. "I didn't say you must. I said you will. Now do it before I kill you," Naruto threatened, his killing intent flooding the room. The man was shaking very hard as he took out papers and signed his resignation papers, stating Naruto is the new CEO. Naruto signed it and kept a copy. "See, that wasn't so hard, right?" he said cheerfully as he walked out of the room and left the man inside, himself. He teleported back to Zuna's house. After sealing the papers into a scroll and giving the carrots to Tsunami, he set out to continue his Kamui training. Then he switched to Enjutsu and Taijutsu, destroying many trees in the forest. After his intensive training, he calloused from exhaustion. The next morning, a young girl dressed in a pink kimono walked into a clearing, humming a soft tune as she plucked herbs and placed them into her basket. Then she noticed a blond boy lying on the floor, seemingly asleep. This was one of the shinobi that day, the one that hit me with his cane. Should I? No. Never mind, the girl thought, her hand poised over his neck. Her hand then traveled to his collar, planning to shake him awake. Just before that happened though, the boy's eyes opened, revealing cerulean blue irises. She blushed and released her grip on his collar. "Oh ho, what are you doing so early out in the forest?" Taking in the girl's image, Naruto replied, "I could say the same." "Haku," the girl supplied before saying, "I am picking herbs to heal someone." "I'm Uzuaki, nah, I was training. I'm a shinobi, you see," the blonde said. "Why do you train?" she asked her head. "I train to get stronger so that I won't lose those precious to me." Na replied, "I see. So you have people precious to you. Then you will grow strong. Very strong. I hope to see you again soon," Haku said, standing up. "Me too," Naruto said as he picked up a sunburn on the floor that fell from her basket. "Hey, you dropped this," he said, tapping her right shoulder. She flinched in obvious pain. Then when she turned around and saw the sunburn, it was even worse. "I wasn't sure just now, but now I am. This girl is the kunoichi that helped Zabuza that day," Naruto thought. "Haku, I won't fight you here, but when you go back, please tell Zabuza to consider what I'm going to say. God doesn't plan to pay you too. In fact, he's hoping that once our fight is over, all of us would be weakened enough for him to kill with a group of mercenaries. I found this out while infiltrating his base. So, I'm extending a proposition to you guys. If you help us kill God and the rest of his men, we can bring you back to Konoha with us," Naruto suggested. "I'll consult Zabuza on this. It's not my decision to make, though I would personally like going back with Konohan," Haku said. Then she walked away to Zuna's house. Tsunami was serving breakfast, toast bread with peanut butter and soft-boiled eggs. "Oh ho, Mina," Naruto greeted as he entered the house and took a seat at the table. Kakashi was already up and about. "So, how's your training?" "Naruto, Sasuke, Sakura," Kakashi asked. "Fine, I've increased my speed and chakra control," Sasuke said. Sakura replied, "I increased my strength in Janjutsu." Na said, "I learned 2 jutsu. This made everyone's eyes widen. "What 2? Na," the blonde sighed. "If I'm going to reveal this to you guys, I'm also going to reveal another secret. But Sasuke, promise me you won't go berserk." The raven raised an eyebrow. Naruto's irises turned into a crimson red with 3 black tomo. Sharing, "How did you get that, Na?" Sasuke demanded. "I think one of my ancestors was an Uchiha, though I'm not really sure. But that's not all. Yesterday I awakened this," Naruto said, gesturing to his eyes as they warped into a pair of Mangekyo sharing. Kakashi's eyes widened even further. I have two dojutsu as stated earlier. Kimui and Susanoo. Kakashi lifted his hatite revealing his sharing. Then it morphed into a pinwheel pattern with 3 sides. Kakashi-sensei, you have the Mangekyo as well. What is your ability? Naruto asked excited. Kimui as well, Kakashi said. In the end, Kakashi agreed to teach Naruto the left eye techniques of Kimui. Sasaki was jealous while Sakura was odd. Then Naruto explained about what he did with Gado and his plans to let Haku and Zabuza go back to Konoha. He even mentioned how he would rename the company to Burning Leaf. He was still talking when Inari suddenly cried in an outburst. What do you know about suffering? I bet you shinobi just spend the years in comfort, while every day we fear for our lives in the hands on God's men. Naruto chuckled darkly, then channeled Kurama's chakra into his voice. Kid, you don't understand how hard of a life we shinobi lead. You think you have it tough. You're wrong. Every day we must train ourselves to get even the slightest edge against our opponent so that we can live to see the day and go back to our loved ones. We face death every single day. Even the slightest mistake can lead up to your death. So we treasure what we have and fight for our precious people. You have your mother and grandfather who love and spoil you. People like me don't even have families. I get glared at in my own village, kicked out of stores, overcharged for simple things. All you need to know is without any precious people, you cease to have a reason to exist. If you don't stand up for yourselves, no one else can do it for you, kid. Inari then went to his bedroom to ponder on Naruto's speech. The rest of Team 7 went training. 13 days later, Na and his 100 clones were on the 3-to completed bridge helping with the building. Ever since Suna had found out that shinobi could stick upside down, he had sent many clones under the bridge to patch up any mistakes. 2 figures appeared on the bridge and walked towards Team 7. Na turned to them. So, what have you decided? Zabuza, Naruto asked. The swordsman cast a gaze over the sheer number of clones. He shrugged. Haku and I will join you if God really doesn't pay us. For now, well spar and wait for him to come. If he doesn't, then it's back to fighting to the death. Kakashi, Sasaki, and Naruto got into fighting stances. I'll fight Zabuza. You two take on Haku. Kakashi stated and ran off. Haku dashed forward towards the two and began engaging both in taijutsu. You're a speed type, Na analyzed as he blocked another punch. Very good, Naruto-kun, she replied as she weaved under Naruto's fist and sent a palm strike to his face. He dodged it and used his hand to grab her arm. Then Na threw her onto the floor. She rolled away, coughing slightly. Suddenly, multiple sunbi shot out from her hand. Naruto activated his spring-loaded kana. With his Sharingan activated, he deflected them all. Haku stood up, then quickly avoided a kick from Sasaki. She grabbed his leg and swept the other, sending him to the floor. Meanwhile, Na closed in on her with a kick and planted his heel into her stomach, crashing her into a pile of cement brick. KS. She got up and lunged at him, grabbing one of his arms. She formed one-handed hand seals with the other. Hi, Jutsu. Sensatsu Susho Secret Jutsu 1000 Flying Water Needles of Death. Water in the air materialized into icy needles and shot towards Na. The blonde activated his Mangio and used Kamui to avoid the impaling sunbi which Haku face-palmed at forgetting about his ability. When Na became tangible again, he formed hand seals. Futon Dappa wind-style great breakthrough. Hearing this, Haku placed her hands in a crossword to brace herself against the incoming wind. She was blown back by 50 meters but managed to stay upright. Na took the chance and ran towards her while forming hand seals. Sweden swear you didn't know jutsu. Na shouted as water picked up from the sea below and funneled into the shape of a dragon. It launched itself at Haku who shot out her hands. Hyoten Hyogen DMU ice-style ice rock dome. A large ice dome materialized around her and the dragon crashed into it, exploding into a shower of water. Sasaki, let's do a combo. Na shouted as the raven got up. He nodded and formed 6 hand seals while Naruto did 5. Kaiden Goku no Jutsu Futon Dappa. Then both yelled, Shakuden, Genkan no Jutsu, Scorch-style Blaze Ball Jutsu. The Kaiden Jutsu augmented by the Futon Jutsu ripped its way towards the ice dome. Everything ended in a giant explosion. Both Jutsu cancelled each other out. Hyoten Kori Sanban ice-style Iceban. Haku shouted, shooting spikes of ice at both Naruto and Sasaki. Activating his Mangekyo, the left eye locked on the spikes and pulled them into his dimension. Na panted slightly before recovering and drawing a kunai from his holster. It soon clashed with the S-ban in Haku's hand. Then they snapped because the prongs of Naruto's kunai were made out of adamantine. The blonde spun around and delivered a roundhouse kick to her stomach, only for her to shatter into pieces of ice. The real Haku appeared in front of both of them, flashing through hand seals. Hyoten Makio Hyosho ice-style demonic ice mirrors. Multiple ice mirrors surrounded the two. Even the top had a mirror which made the whole place look like a house. In every mirror, Haku was present. So, it seemed to Sasaki. To Na, who had his Sharingan activated, he could track Haku and knew that she was just moving so fast that it appeared like she was everywhere. Haku decided to deal with Sasaki first as he seemed like an easier target. Raining sunburn down on him. Sasaki was thinking, focus. See the sunburn and anticipate. He got his reward for his effort in the form of a pair of sharing. Not bad, Naruto mused as he deflected the hail of S-ban from the girl. Sasuke, just try to dodge it. I'll deflect cause my sharing has enough power to track her movements. Yours doesn't. Sasaki grunted but began dodging the assault while Na fended off the attacks. Now, how do we escape this? Na brainstormed. Kami, damn it, cursed the blonde. The speed of the shower had increased, giving him less time to think. How about Kamui? Na thought and channeled chakra to his right eye. However, instead of teleporting away, a thin line of blood fell from his right eye. Black flame sprouted from one of the mirrors and melted it immediately. What everyone thought at the same time. Wasting no time on his surprise, he grabbed Sasaki by the collar and tried to escape while deactivating what he thought was Amaterasu. However, Haku regenerated the mirror, preventing all thoughts of escape. The sunburn shower had stopped, giving Na enough time to think. A black aura wrapped around Naruto and Sasaki, while a gray rib cage formed around them. Then, it grew into a full skeleton, followed by a humanoid. When the Yamabushi armor came, every mirror exploded with a burst of black chakra, throwing Haku back by 20 meters. She rolled to a stop and coughed up blood. Then came the sound of clapping. Well, it looks like you couldn't even take care of a couple of Konohan nin and an old geezer. But that's fine because I never planned on paying you, Zabuza. Shinobi are expensive. The snobby voice of God echoing across the bridge. You were right, kid. Luckily, I saved up energy for this, Zabuza commented as he swung the Kubi Kiribio and eyed the mercenary army God brought with him. You've got my respect. Take my sword and Haku back to Konoha, Zabuza said, tossing the sword to the blonde who caught it. You're the one who'll take back my company by the end of this. God yelled when he spotted Naruto. But Zabuza-sama, you're not coming with us? Haku asked. The swordsman shook his head before planting a kunai into his mouth and charging at the 100 mercenaries. At the end, he was wounded fatally but took God with him to the waters of Nami Nukuni. The mercenaries all lay dead. I guess this means it's a truce, Naro said, his hands glowing green and healing Haku from her injuries. He helped her up after that and strapped the kubikir to his back. It was surprisingly light in his hand as he did so, but he guessed it was due to his strength. This sword would be heavy in the hands of others. Team 7 returned to Zuna's house. The whole village was celebrating God's death, and once again, the streets were lively, bustling with activity. Na went over to God's base and ran through his files, changing the name of the company to Burning Leaf. As planned earlier. Then, he cut off all illegal tradings. He didn't want to have anything illegal tied to his name. After sealing all the files away, he sold the whole 3-story house, its furniture, and any of God's valuables away. When he returned to the house, he was richer by 100 million ryo. To Zuna's house, Kurama, why the hell did I use Amaterasu on the bridge earlier instead of Kimui like I intended? Na asked through the mental link. I think because while you were channeling chakra to your right eye, you were focusing on the mirror instead of just amassing chakra. I guess you could say you were glaring at the mirror because you were frustrated and ended up activating Amaterasu. Kurama suggested. So you mean I have to focus and channel chakra for Amaterasu while just channel chakra for Kimui? Na asked. For now, I think saying the dojutsu name will suffice. Later when you progress in your training, you may be able to differentiate both easily and do them without saying they are names. Also, why not check if you have Kagutsuki? Channel chakra first to your right eye, then your left. Of course, outside. Okay. Na complied and did so. However, there was no effect. Try thinking of what shape you want to turn it to. The black flames turned into the shape of a sword, though the whole thing was still made of flames. Then it turned into an orb. So you apparently have Kagutsuki. Kurama stated. Well, I have nothing to say. I'm sleeping. Thanks, Furball. Na said. I am NAFUR. Kurama roared but was cut off by Na cutting the mental link. The blonde snickered. The next week over the past week, Haku was getting integrated with Team 7's people. She taught Na how to wield Sanban effectively, as well as striking pressure points that she said would be useful due to his sharing ability. In return, Naruto acted as a source of comfort for her whenever she cried at night in her room because of Zabuza's death. He would hug her, then hold her until she fell asleep. As for Sasaki, Naruto and Kakashi began training him in the sharing's use. For Sakura, Haku said that her natural chakra control was good for Irian En Jutsu. So, she began tutoring her on the chosen jutsu, mystical palm jutsu, and which herbs to use for healing. In all, good progress. Tuna had quickly completed the bridge, and soon it was time for Team 7 and Haku to leave. All the villagers were gathered to watch the departure and send them off. What shall we name the bridge? Zuna asked the crowd. Inari suggested, how about the Great Narat Bridge? Everyone cheered in assent. The Great Na Bridge it is. The blonde smiled and whispered something into Zuna's ear while passing him an envelope. A tear dropped from his eye and he said, thank you so much. Na said, no problem. We're leaving now. Then the five took off for Konoha. Tsunami asked Tuan, what did he say? He announced. Naruto said that he returned the money that God had taken from us all those years. The crowd cheered for their hero and someone yelled, let's build a statue of him in the town square. Everyone applauded loudly in agreement. Zuna said, I'll send for the best stonesmith and we can work on that. Na couldn't help but smile as he heard the loud cheers from kilometers away. It vanished when he sensed the presence of 3 Jonin-level shinobi closing in on him at high speeds. He quickly alerted the whole group and they stopped. The 3 Jonins had headbands stating they were from Amika. Naruto said looking at the leader. Rususho AOIB rank Jon and Nguyen from Konoha. So you know me, AOI said taking out what appeared to be a handle resembling the shape of a bajra. It was a grey club topped by ribbed spherical heads. The ribs ended in sharp points with which to stab. Despite it being a weapon by itself, it was still a handle of a sword. Yellow chakra suddenly shot forth from the cylindrical part of the club and past the ribs much like a lightsaber. The Ragan no Ken sword of the Thunder God. Deleted scenes. Thanks Furball. Na said I am the mighty no Yoko not a Furball. Kurama roared. Na replied but you are. You have fur that is so soft and cuddly. I want to squish and hug it to death. Then he gave a fanderish squeal that sent a shiver down the fox's spine. Na laughed hard as he jumped back to avoid the smashing tail of Kurama coming down at him, followed by the other 8. Oh. You know this sword? Then you should know fighting me is useless. AOI bragged. Na snorted. Yes, I know this sword. The sword of the Thunder God belongs to the Thunder God. To be specific, the Flying Thunder God. The 3 Jon impaled at this. You don't mean, AOI said, but was interrupted by Naruto pulling out his special kana. I do mean, AOI-san said the blonde as he threw the kanai at them while drawing Kubiko and subsequently the Hako Chakuratu. Horizon no Jutsu. He disappeared in a yellow flash, then reappeared while kicking AOI in the chest and decapitating both of his partners simultaneously. The rest of Team 7 and Haku were astonished by the extreme speed it showed to allow a genin to kill 2 Jonin in a second. AOI crashed into the ground 10 meters away, hacking up blood. The Ran no Ken lay on the floor, having been knocked out of his hand. You're pretty strong for a genin, AOI said as he got up on one knee. No, Sherlock, Naruto replied, making his team snicker. A blue orb appeared in his hand as the Jonin stood up and charged at him. Na threw a kanai at his head, but AOI dodged as expected. Horizon Nino Dan flying rag level 2. Na shouted as he teleported to the kanai that was just behind E's head. Spinning around, he thrust the Renon into the new Kenan's back. E's eyes widened as the orb tore through his back, leaving behind a bloody and raw skin. He passed out from the pain. Gez, you'd think a Jonin would do better than that, Na said, picking up the Rage and no Ken. Na sealed AOI into a scroll, then he watched as the blade automatically retracted into the club. He sealed it away as well, planning to return it to the Hokage. Kakashi nodded his head in approval. Let's go. The group continued on their journey back to Konoha. Konoha West Gate Team 7 coming back from mission with a potential kunoiki, Kakashi said as he and the group bypassed the gate guards. Hoage office C rank turned a rank here asked shocked well yes though nah here managed to patch things up quickly on the way back we encountered Akusho Aoy Kakashi reported yes that and I now own God's company which I renamed to Burning Leaf I also own Zabaz's Kubi Kiriboko which he gave to me out of respect. I subdued Aoi and his two Jonin partners with ease and Naruto said pausing to unseal the Rage and no Ken. Then he handed it to the Hokage. Giving it a brief look said you can keep it nah. Anything else? Oh yes. I plan on handing Aoi over to Rabiki. I'm sure he'll have fun with the guy who tortured his Otudo. Na said chuckling evilly. This is Zabaz's apprentice, Yuki Haku. She didn't do anything to us. Plus, she has the Hyoden Kek Genka, so I'm sure the council wouldn't mind her joining our forces. Haku bowed. Nice to meet you, Hokage-sama. Serbi rubbed his head in anticipation of a headache. Everyone is dismissed. Hakuyu will have to be put on probation for a month and sent to Yamanaka Inanoiki for a memory check. The blonde gave the scroll containing a tozen and left for the apartment. When Na returned to the house, he took a nice long bath. Then he headed out to train with his two new swords. He decided to learn how to wield both in a dual sword style and switch between the Hako Chakuru, the Kubiki and the Ragnoken. 4 hours later, an ANBU appeared and called Naruaki. Na, you have been summoned to the council chambers. The blonde grinned. Council meetings were fun. Sure, I'll be there in 5 minutes. Council chambers, the Hokage asked. May I know why the council has been summoned? A civilian councillor said, we've heard that the Uzumaki brat had gotten possession of God's company raised an eyebrow in A, so look, he is too young to handle so much wealth. The money should be given to council and split up among us. The councillor said greedily, I'm afraid not. It is his company now. He can do whatever he wants with it. Na Shikaku said, defending the boy. Thanks for defending me, Shikaku-san said the boy walking out of the shadows. On top of that, I'm a genin, so technically I'm an adult. I can do whatever I want. Besides, I've been learning how to manage my money since I was 5. Ah, so the brat is here. That's not all. We heard you've gained possession of one of the 7 swords belonging to the mist. It should be given to someone more worthy to wield like Uchiha-sama. One of the other councillors said. Naruto shook his head. The last owner gave it to me because he respected me. I am under no circumstances obliged to hand over my blade to Sasaki. What about the Ran-Noken? It belongs to Nadim-sama. It shouldn't be with you. He argued again. Na shook his head. As a blade won in battle, it belongs to me as a spoil of war. Besides, I've already gave it to Hokage-sama, and he returned it to me, saying that I could keep it. The counselor was getting frustrated as his points were getting shot down one by Naruto's intelligence. Damn it, demon brat. Just give us the money and the swords to Chiha-sama. The counselor yelled, but was silenced by the glowing red Sharingan in Naruto's eyes. The Thomas were spinning rapidly and took on a new form. The Shinobi Council was shocked. How did Naruto have the Sharingan? In a trance, the counselor got up from his seat and walked in front of Naruto, whose right hand was buzzing with Futon Chakra. Under Konoha's S-Rank Secret Laws Section 3b, any citizen of Konohagakure who talks or references to the cow by Jinuriki as a demon or anything similar is punishable by death. This law was created by the Sandaime Hokage and any shinobi has the jurisdiction to carry out immediate execution if possible. With the power vested in me as a shinobi of Konohagakure, I deem you guilty of this crime. Naruto said darkly, justice shall be meted out shortly. With a single thrust, his hand impaled the man's chest and went straight to his heart. He tore it out and used the wind blades to crush and destroy it in front of everyone in a shower of blood and gore. Anyone else? No. Thank you for your kind attention, honorable counselors. I believe this is all I can offer for this meeting. Naruto said sarcastically as he left the chambers, leaving behind a shocked council. Danzo eyed the boy in approval as he walked away. This boy was very well versed in politics and the laws of Konoha apartment. After running through his katas in the spacious main hall, he went to sleep. Next morning, 4 a.m., two figures darted through the streets of Konoha looking for their target. When they located him, they snuck in through the window. Their target was lying on the bed, sleeping soundly. He die, demon, one of them said, drawing a cane from his holster. When he stabbed down, the cane passed through the body and hit the bed instead. Not expecting the lack of resistance, the man fell forward. The blonde target capitalized on this and materialized, grabbing the man's arm, twisting it with a sickening crunch. He then launched the cane into the other intruder's neck with incredible speed. Na planted his feet into the first man's face and sent him crashing into his cupboard. In the darkness, a pair of red eyes with 3 black tomo glowed as they trained themselves on the man. Why are you and your partner here? We were sent to assassinate you. By who? Karasu Hakana, a council member. Naruto's eyes almost burned holes into the back of his head. He could if he wanted to. Amaterasu, that was the man who complained about him possessing the company. Putting a genjutsu on the man and knocking him out, he sealed him and the other man into a scroll. The Hokage would hear about this. Later in the day, Karasu Hakana was walking down a deserted street on his way back home. He passed by a training ground when he heard some noises. Okay, well, hide the 1,000 million Ryo here. Tomorrow we'll come back. Okay, a masked man said to another. The other man nodded and both left, much to Hakana's glee. After checking that the coast was clear, he ran to the area and bent down, beginning to dig. That is until he heard someone say, "Wow, you're greedier than I thought." When he turned around, he found himself restrained by golden flaming chains. I thought you were dead. Ha, that's what you will be. Iku's Kaabina yelled, slamming his palm onto the floor. In a burst of smoke, Kurama appeared 10 times smaller than his actual size. His current size was about the size of a regular boss summon. The man started, himself when red and blue orbs merged to form a purple sphere. Buju Dharma-tailed beast bomb. The fox fired it at the man, detonating it as an explosion which vaporized the training ground. That was just a mini version. A full-powered Bijama would destroy an entire village with a single blast. That was fun, Kurama said as he dispelled and returned to the mindscape. Tisk, Na replied, walking away as if nothing had happened. After all, the Sandaime authorized his execution. His sweat dropped in his office at how Na dealt with Counselor. Wasn't that overkill? The blonde then threw himself into training with Haku and rest of Team 7. It was for the Chunin exams coming up in 6 months' time. Naruto planned to get promoted. Extras far away. Narumi and Itachi were in an Akatsuki hideout in AIM. Toby called her Tamatu. The feisty redhead snapped. Get back here, you little punk. The masked man was running away, phasing through walls, which was annoying for Narumi because she couldn't hit him with her fists. But Toby is a good boy. Shut up. I'll kill you. Over the past half year, Team 7 had completed many D ranks and even a few more C ranks, which had almost always escalated to higher ranks. It would seem they couldn't get a normal C rank. In one of them, he went to Takaka and met a fellow Gingariki named Fur who hosted the Nanabi. She was the guardian of her village's Omizu, hero water, which increased the chakra reserves, but shortened the lifespan of whoever drank it. The Nanabi was a flying kabuto mushi rhinoceros beetle named Chomsa, as her Gingariki Fu could utilize insects like the arum. She and Shino would have been good friends. After the mission, Konoha had an alliance with Takaga and Burning Leaf as a trading unit between them. In another mission, Naruto defeated the tyrant Kazahandu in Yuki Nankuni, Land of Snow. He had killed his brother and predecessor Kazahan Soetsu for the position of Snow Daimo. The blonde then helped the actress Kazuhana Koyuki, who was Dodo's niece and the late Do's daughter, take her rightful positi on as Daimo. Naturally, she formed an alliance with Konoha once again, with Burning Leaf being the trading unit. The Land of Snow had many futuristic devices like chakra armor, volley guns which fired kanais and ice bombs. Also, the country had been renamed to Haru Nankuni, Land of Spring. The list went on. Naruto helped the daimos of Toran Nankuni, Land of Birds, and Nanokuni, Land of Vegetables, to reclaim their positions, all ending in alliances with Konoha and Burning Leaf. In all, It was quite a productive 6 months. Naruto had trained himself to the ground with shadow clones in anticipation of the Chunin exams, though judging by the current level, he was about Jonin level. Today, the team had a meeting. Dana Nahan, I've nominated you for the Chunin exams. If you want to take part, go to room 3001 in the academy 3 days from now, Kakashi announced. The Genins of Team 7 nodded. Dismissed, he said, then disappeared in a shun. So, how did the training for you two go? Fine. I learned from Haku-chan speed and Sunbi techniques as well as Irian En Jutsu, Sakura said. The Uchiha replied, HN, I learned from Haku-chan how to increase my speed and reflexes even further. Plus, I got my sharing to 2 tomo each. Haku-chan, is it? Na teased. Quote, ... shut up. Na chuckled and waved his hand in a placating gesture before saying, I trust you guys will come to the Chunin exams. Sasaki smirked while Sakura said, you bet. Na nodded. I will too. As for his training, he had progressed far with both Kimui, Amaterasu, and Susanoo. For Kimui, he could now easily suck in objects with his left eye and turn intangible instantaneously with his right. Regarding Amaterasu, Naruto had increased the speed and intensity of the flames exponentially while being able to form weapons out of it with Kagatsuki. For some reason, he himself was immune to the flames, so he could wield it as a sword or bow and arrow with his bare hands. His Susanoo had the most noticeable improvements. He could manifest 2 special weapons. The Tatsuka no Tsurugi Tatsuka blade and the Yata no Kagami 8-span mirror. The Tatsuka no Tsurugi was special. Its handle was a sake jar while the blade was made out of sake spilled from it. Whenever the blade touched an enemy, it would seal him or her inside the sake jar for eternity trapped in an endless genjutsu. As for the Yata no Agami, it was a shield made of all 5 elements. So any elemental enjutsu attack will fail against it since it is also made out of the same material as the rest of the Susanoo. It is also immune to taijutsu attacks. Lastly, he was able to form the Yusaka no Magatama as 3 Magatama linked by a single chakra thread or as several hundred linked by an interconnecting thread. That said, he could manifest legs for his Susanoo, though it was destabilized and could only go up to level 2, the humanoid form. He planned to stabilize the chakra and led it up to level 3 where there was plated armor and swords. Not to mention, he could manifest 2 extra arms and faces for his current Susanoo. When he achieved level 3, there would be a total of 6 arms. He was getting excited, but he still noticed a poorly camouflaged box following him. Na let out a sigh. Reveal yourselves. In a burst of smoke, the box disappeared and revealed 3 children who were coughing. The kid who seemed to be the leader whispered to his friends, I think we put too much gunpowder. Then he stood up straight. I'm Sarutobi Konohamaru. The girl next to him said, I'm Moi. I'm Udon. A kid wearing glasses and a drip of mucus coming out of his nostril introduced. And together were the Konohamaru Corps. Konohamaru shouted. Naruto sat down on an imaginary chair with legs crossed, saying, tell me more. We've been following you around and decided that you're worthy of being called our boss. Will you teach us some cool jutsus? Konohamaru asked. Na raised an eyebrow. Serbi. Ha, this is the Hoage's grandson, he thought. Well, first off, to be a good shinobi. Na started trailing off to increase their anticipation. You must increase your stealth skills. I know it might not be fair because I'm a censor, but I'm pretty sure any decent genin can sense you. Also, work on your speed. The Konohamaru Corps nodded eagerly and took off running. Further down the street, a cry was heard. Alarmed, Naruto went over quickly to see the ruckus. A boy about their age dressed in a catsuit and purple war paint with a Sunohatite was lifting up Konohamaru by his collar. Next to him was a tea-eyed blonde girl with 4 ponytails and a giant Tesson iron fan strapped to her back. Conqueror, put him down. If he sees us, we're dead, she chided harshly. Conqueror scoffed. This kid bumped into me. I just want to have a little fun. Na stepped up to the 2. Please put him down, Conqueror-san. The 2 Sunanins checked him out. Who the hell are you? Konjuro asked while the girl thought this guy is attractive. It doesn't matter. Bullying the Hoage's grandson will spark an international incident. So please put him down now. Why should I? Because I have a cage bunken ready to cleave your body in half at my command. Konjuro tilted his head to the side and noticed Kubikiri poised over his head. He immediately dropped the boy and Ichi stopped hiding in the tree. Naruto commented after sensing a malevolent chakra source in the tree nearby. Sand swirled next to Konkoro and took the shape of a redhead boy with the kanji for love etched onto his forehead. Ichi? The girl asked. Then she put 2 and 2 together and got 4. Konkoro's a gingari as well. The boy in the catsuit immediately stepped back. Nice to meet you, Hugh. The redhead said, I'm Sabaku no, and these are my siblings, Sabaku no Tamari and Sabaku no Konka. Who are you? I'm Azumaki Na. Na stated. Nice to meet you. I look forward to spilling your blood. Gar said bloodthirstily. Na suppressed a shiver down his spine. What did Shukaku, the Ikeep, do to make his hosts so crazy and full of bloodlust? Shukaku is known to drive his hosts crazy, depriving them of sleep and pretending to be someone close to them in order to trick them. Kurama explained. The blonde discreetly activated his sharing and entered Gar's mindscape. The seal was weak, very weak. Which idiot used a 5-point seal on Aiju? To securely seal Shukaku, it required at least a 7-point seal. The minimum number of points was 6 more than the number of tails that the Beiju had. His own was a 16-point seal, 2 for each of the 8 tetragrams. This was 1 more point than required, making Naruto's seal very secure. Gar looked like it could be released any moment. Na's fingers danced in the form of hand seals before he slammed it down on Gar's seal. Now, Shukaku wouldn't be able to influence the redhead because the seal had been upgraded to 8 points. He left the seal and said to Gar, who looked shocked because his mother was no longer yelling in his mind. You can sleep peacefully now, Gar. The redhead turned and walked away with his siblings with the new revelation in his head. Na asked the Konohamaru Corps to train by themselves and not run around recklessly. Then he went to Ikyaku Ramen. Ikyaku Ramen. He saw a pretty young girl at the stand getting pushed around by a boy. He was grabbing her arm and attempting to take her out despite her outright refusal. Na stepped up. Please let go of the lady's arm. The boy turned to him and snorted before flinging her arm away. You wouldn't do that if you knew who she was. She's the demon, __. Na winced at the familiar insult while the lady flinched, fully expecting Naruto to ignore her. He replied, she ain't any demon. All I see is a pretty young lady who is getting harassed by a boy. Whatever your funeral. Then the boy left. Thank you. The girl said she was blonde and had her hair done up in a ponytail. She was also wearing black pants and a short-sleeved black and purple blouse with purple fingerless gloves and a chain of blue beads wrapped around her left arm. I'm Neo. She introduced herself. Na smiled. I'm Ui Na. Why was that boy harassing you anyways? She sighed. Back in Kumo, every boy wants to get into my pants just to tell their friends that they had with the demon, __. You shouldn't call yourself that, Naruto said, frowning. You're no demon, just a beautiful young girl. Okay. Yugito blushed. You really mean that? Or do you just want to get into my pants? Na shook his head. I really think so. I'm not like other boys. Yugo her head to the side. Oh. Really? How so? I'm like you. I guess you could call me Q. The girl gasped in recognition. I've always wanted to meet another container. She said excitedly. The two chatted about their lives while eating many bowls of ramen for many hours straight. I like you, Hooken. Na smiled. I like you too, Yugo-san. Perhaps we should meet again here tomorrow, same time. Yugo nodded in agreement. Before she left, she said, you can call me Yugo-chan. Na replied, then call me Narokan. See you tomorrow. After paying for both their meals, he left as well, leaving behind a super happy Tuki as he had just earned a small fortune from both Jinchuriki's food. Na proceeded to train again, this time in a new technique that he had created from Fu and Jutsu. It was simple really. Since the gravity seals allowed him to manipulate gravity so that it became heavier for weights, he used them in reverse such that it allowed him to have almost zero gravity, that is flying. However, he still had to learn in-flight control, otherwise he would end up upside down and regurgitating. The next day, once again, after training, he met up with Yugito for lunch. There he met Yugito's sensei, Killer B. He was a tall, buff man with sunglasses and 7 swords on his back. He liked to rap, albeit horribly, and was also the Hibi Jinchuriki. Yo, my man, I'm Hachi, the great Killer B. He first rapped when they met. Naruto became fast friends with B and actually learned to tolerate his rapping Yugito's tips. They traded tips about training and talking to their respective boo. In fact, they even entered the Biju Shinso Shinri tailed beast psyche plane for everyone to meet. Naruto discussed with them about Gar's plight and how he solved it, marveling the other two with his profound knowledge of Fu and Jutsu. Did anyone tell you so? You look like the Kroi Senko, B asked. Na nodded and asked, why though? B rapped, from the blonde hair to blue eyes in Fujutsu, you are just as wise. With everything said and done, I would have thought you were his. Kurama sent his tail over to the Gingeriki, stopping him from finishing the truth. What son? Na finished. The Kaili sighed, and Na took that as a yes. I'm his son. Actually, that would make sense. He died during Kurama's attack on Konoha, and you were born on the same day, so he used you as the Gingeriki. Yugito theorized as she sat on Matabi, the two-tailed Boniko, demon cat. I know he was a noble man, so he wouldn't use anyone else's child for the ceiling when he couldn't even give up his own. Guy the eight-tailed Ashioni ox demon added. Kuramama sighed again. It's true. Naruto looked up to the other two Jinchurikis. Could you please keep this a secret? The two Kumo nin nodded. It was shocking to know that one of the best shinobi ever to grace the elemental nations was your father. They would give him time to mull over it. That's actually pretty awesome now that I think about it, Na said. The other two sweat dropped. My father is the Yandere. I guess I'll have to keep it under wraps until I'm strong enough to fend off his enemies, Naruto concluded, receiving nods from the other Jinchurikis. They may have been from different villages, but they all shared one thing in common, being Gingeriki, so they knew they could trust each other. That and now I know Narumi-sensei was my sister. Naruto thought. Well, it was fun talking to you, Naruto-kun. We've got to leave for training now. See you tomorrow, Yugo said. Same to you, Na replied before leaving. If he was right, this feeling in his heart, it was love. But he wouldn't be able to act on it anyway, considering that she was from another village. He sighed. It was one day before the Chunin exams. Now was not the time to think of such things. Some final training. The next morning. Yo, Sasake and Sakura, let's head over now. Na greeted the two. Sasake gave a HN as he walked off towards the academy. TCH Naruto ground out, sprinting towards the academy. When they reached the second floor, there was a large crowd around room 301. Two genins were standing at the door, blocking the entrance to it. Genjutsu, Naruto thought as he dispelled it, most likely to weed out the weaker ones. In fact, the two people blocking the door were actually the Chun Zumo and Katu, known as the Eternal Gate Guards, for they always seemed to be on duty guarding the gates of Konoha. Na continued up the next flight of stairs, as did his teammates. Glad to see you made it, came the voice of Kakashi from on top of the stairs. Good luck, room 301. The classroom was huge. Many people were already seated. At the back were the rookie 9. I see you actually made it, Ka said. Na nodded in acknowledgement. The rest chatted among themselves. The blonde took the time to analyze the people in the room. There were 20 teams from Konoha, 5 teams from Kumo, 7 teams from Suna, 2 teams from Kusa, and 3 from Odo. You shouldn't be that loud. You might attract unwanted attention. A silver-haired bespectacled Konohan nin said while approaching them. Who are you? Ino asked. I'm Yukushi Kabuto. The guy said, you could see me as a veteran in these exams. I guess this is my 7th try. Wow, you must really suck. Ka commented. Kabuto smirked. These exams are harder than you think. Anyways, I might be able to help you guys out a little with my ninja info cards. He pulled out a deck of cards with the kanji for and endo on the back face that were blank on the front. What the heck are those? Sakura asked. They are special cards imbued with information about the exams that I've collected over the years. It responds to my chakra and gives me the information that I want to know. Got anyone in mind? I would like to know about Sabaku Nogara, Naruto said. Kabuto placed his fingertips on the card which began to spin with his chakra flowing into it. Words and pictures appeared soon. Sabaku no this is his mission experience. He had 30 D ranks, 8 C ranks and get this 1 B rank. His sensei is Baki and his teammates are Sabaku no Tamari and Sabakun no Conqueror who are also his siblings. The 3 siblings are children of the Yandai K's cage. Interesting to note, He has come out of every single mission without a single scratch. Kabuto read. Uzumaki na. Sasaki demanded. Na raised an eyebrow in response. Uzumaki na. This is his mission experience. 60D ranks, 20C ranks, 9B ranks, 6A ranks, and 2S ranks. Everyone stared at him in awe, to which he shrugged, but he narrowed his eyes. The one of the S ranks was supposed to be secret. Flashback. Naruto had a simple D rank to help a farmer, but came across a trapdoor somewhere on the hill. He entered it cautiously with clones, ensuring that there were no traps. It was a tunnel leading to a whole underground laboratory with many chemicals and blood samples, notably of all the dead Hokages. The place smelled strongly of snakes. Naruto immediately contacted the Hokage and later they found that the lab belonged to his old student Orochimaru of the Sannin. The mission was upgraded to rank and he got payment for it in exchange for keeping it a secret. Present he had many sense Hitaki Kakashi Uchiha Itachi Namikaze Narumi Maida Gyuhi Karani Uchiha Makoto and Isuki Yugao. Sasaki glared at him after finding out that his mother and two of the people he hated most were his sensei. His teammates Urushia Sasaki and Haruno Sakura. He is currently the richest man in the elemental nations, being the CEO of Burning Leaf. Na narrowed his eyes at Kabuto. How did he know so much? Please stop. I would like to keep the rest to myself. Na requested. Kabuto nodded and replaced the card in his deck. Well, to conclude, this time's exams are tough. Though, I wouldn't worry about the minor villages like Odo so much, Kabuto said, sliding his glasses further up his nose bridge. Suddenly, three shapes blurred towards Kabuto. They were three Odo nin who heard Kabuto's comment and decided to take action against him. Two of them wore gauntlets on their hands with holes in them. The bigger of two swung his fist towards Kabuto. Na grabbed the bespectacled nin by his sleeve and pulled him out of the way successfully. However, Kabuto's glasses cracked and he fell to the floor, throwing up. Naruto furrowed his brows, but he missed. Unless the gauntlet the Odo nin uses produces high-pitched sound from those holes and use them to distort vision and cause pain at the same time. The frequency is so high that it cracks his glasses. So that's why they're called Odo. Naruto deduced in his head. Kurama was impressed, so he decided to give him an observation. Naruto, Kabuto smells like snakes. The blonde thought back to the mission that uncovered Orochimaru's lab. However, he didn't pull Kabuto out of the way because he wanted to save him. He looked down at the tiny piece of cloth that Naruto had ripped off of Kabuto's sleeve. It would be enough to provide Misaru a trail to track him later. Okay, sit down and shut up, maggots. Fighting is strictly prohibited. Save your spunk for the second test, yelled a man who appeared with several other tunins. A smile tugged at Naruto's lips. The man was Morino Ibiki, head of Konoha's torture and interrogation. The tunins began giving out papers. Ibiki said, the first part of the exams is a written test. There are a set of rules. Firstly, you are graded in a point system. Everyone starts with 10 points. Answering the first 9 questions correctly will let you keep the points. A point is deducted for every question answered wrongly or left blank. 2 points every time you are caught cheating. This is very likely because the tunins here beside me will act as sentinels watching your every move. A total of 5 times caught and you and your whole team will fail. Also, if any teammate gets 0 points, the whole team will fail as well. The 10th question will be given out 15 minutes before the end of the test. You have 1 hour, hygiene. The sound of papers flipping echoed throughout the room as the candidates began the test. The blonde's eyes scanned the paper quickly, determining them to be Jonin-level questions. What the hell were they doing on a Tunin exam test? Unless the objective was information gathering. Well, that wouldn't be necessary. Naruto's pencil hit the paper and began writing out answers. Now he was thankful that Narumi-sensei, no Nan, forced him to read those books. After he was done, he blew the test paper into his dimension to prevent others from copying it. Discreetly eyeing the room, Sakura was just like him, knowing the answers, while Sasaki was using his sharing to copy the pencil movements of a Chunin disguised as a genin in front of him. Soon 45 minutes passed. Right, the 10th question is going to be given. However, you can choose whether to take it or not, Ibiki said. Not taking it would result in you and your team failing immediately. Then, of course, we'd take the question, Ka cried. Ibiki smirked. However, If you take the question and answer wrongly, you will never be able to take the Chunin exams again for the rest of your life. At that statement, many teams gave up, leaving behind about 20. No one else. Becky asked sadistically. If we don't possess the courage to take the risk of this question, we are not fit to be Chunin, Naruto answered. Becky smiled and clapped. Well said. All of you in this room passed the first test. What came many candidates' responses as the gentleman here said, it was to test if you had the courage required of a Chunin. Many times in your jobs, you will have to make risky decisions that might get you and your teammates injured or killed. Courage is having the guts to take this risk and accomplish the mission. But at the same time, courage is not recklessness. You want to accomplish the mission with as little casualties as possible. In the ninja world, those who break the rules are scum. But those who abandon their friends are worse than scum. Naruto finished. Becky smiled again. That smile quickly disappeared when he had to sidestep a ball of cloth that broke through the window and unfurled into a large rectangular banner with 4 kanis tied to it, one on each corner. The kunais planted themselves into the floor and ceiling, holding it in place as a kunoiki appeared. The banner read, "The end single proctor of the second test, Midarashi and Enko." The kunoiki stepped forward. "Hey kids, I'm your proctor for the second test. Meet at training ground 44. Don't be late." Becky stepped out from behind the banner. "You're early again, Anko. I just want to have a more little fun with them, couldn't I?" Na was sure. Her idea of fun wasn't the same as his. Deleted scenes. Becky checked his watch. It was the usual time when Anko would burst through the window. He smirked as the ball of cloth hit the window without breaking it, and he heard a loud groan. "Oops. Forgot to tell Ango that we replaced the usual glass with some tempered titanium alloy glass." Enko disappeared in a body flicker as the candidates began filing out of the room. Na then returned his test paper to the real world from his dimension. After the blonde did so, he swiped his thumb across his sharp canines and cut it. Going to a discreet place, he summoned Misaru. "Mzaru-san, I need you to trail this suspicious guy. He wears a purple shirt and a white undershirt with medical tape around his waist. He has silver hair and wears black circle-rimmed spectacles. Here's his scent." Then Naruto took the part of the sleeve that he had ripped off Kabuto and put it in front of Misaru's nose. The fox sniffed it for a bit before nodding. "I'll come to you if I find anything." Then he disappeared into the environment. Na stood up and took inventory of his weapons. Senbon launcher loaded, spring loaded. Can ready some bonds, shurikens and special canis all in their places. Good. Then he walked off. Along the way, he met a lost Yugito and offered to bring her there. They began talking about the first test and how they passed it. She was impressed with his humility considering his wealth of knowledge. "See you," Naruto said as he left her for his team to discuss stuff. 30 minutes later, the rules are simple. The second test is one of survival. In the 44th training ground or the Forest of Death, you will have 5 days for your whole team to get either a Heaven or Earth scroll, the opposite of the ANBU you were given at the start, and make your way to the tower in the middle of the forest with every single teammate intact. Now, enter this tent to sign a waiver and get your scroll. We shall not be held responsible for any deaths that occur in the forest. Oh yes, deaths will be common, Anko said, enjoying the traumatized looks on many genins. Each team entered and after signing were told to hide their scroll with one of the members. Sasaki chose Na as the holder, to which he agreed as he had the ultimate defense no one else had. Each team proceeded to a different gate at every part of the fence surrounding the forest. Tip. Don't die, Hajime. The fence doors opened and Team 7 shot in with great speed, traversing multiple trees in a single leap. "So, what's the plan?" Sakura asked. Our first priority will be to locate a river. You guys know why, right?" said Naruto as he pushed off another tree. Sakura nodded. "So that we have a stable source of water as well as a chance to attack other teams on the river who might have an Earth scroll." Sasaki gave her HN in agreement. Based on the tone of that single syllable, it was possible to tell what his real response. "Okay, I'll scout ahead by turning into an eagle," Nanjuni Henchwashi Na said as his body morphed into the very avian animal he was talking about. Spreading his wings, he soared high into the sky. Many explosions indicated teams had begun clashing. Up ahead was a river. The eagle swooped down to his team, transforming back into Na mid-flight. "There's a river at 2 o'clock. The other two sped up after changing the direction slightly. Suddenly, Na yelled, "Incoming!" 6 can shot out from their right. 5 were deflected by Naruto's special Kana, while the last one was picked out of the air by Sasake and thrown back to the enemy. The rebounded kunai lodged into another human, causing a loud scream. 1 shinobi and a kunoichi lunged out from the trees, most probably the deceased teammates. Naruto had a long line of ninja wire with kunais attached to both ends. So he threw it horizontally at the kunoichi, binding her to a tree as the kunais whipped around it and flew back at Naruto. The blonde caught them after forming hand seals. Kaden Ruka no Jutsu Fire Style Dragon Fire Jutsu. Fire spewed forth from his mouth and shot along the lines of ninja wire, incinerating her. Yu. The shinobi started before he had to duck back to avoid a sunbi swipe from Sakura. After missing, she spun around and delivered a roundhouse kick to the Genin's stomach, sending him crashing into the TR. The presence of his teammate's body caused him to rebound forward straight through the length of the rage and no ken. He died. The 3 began ransacking them for their scroll and found that they also had a heaven scroll. They sighed but used their weapons to restock. Na detected 3 shinobis running in the direction. His eyes bled red and walked into the Mangekyo. 1 kilometer away. In the midst of running, 2 of the 3 dropped to the floor, heads in their hands. They were screaming their lungs out. Argai. It mate. The 2 screamed, clutching their heads in extreme pain. Their remaining teammate was scared shitless, not knowing what the hell to do. Genjutsu, she thought. Suddenly, they stopped. They got up smiling. Then both stabbed her before slitting their own throats. Back to Team 7. Na panted slightly as his eyes returned to normal. Any more enemies? Sasake asked, keeping a kunai in his holster. No. Let's go to the river. Na took the extra heaven scroll. You would never know if you needed one. The 3 continued on their journey northwest towards the source of life, the river. It was a peaceful 6 meters wide stream that flowed eastwards. When he got to the bank, Na cupped his hands and drank some water. His teammates did the same while he set up a small sleeping area in the giant tree hollow at the bottom of a tree near the river. The 2 of you can bathe or rest first. I'll alert you if there are any enemies, said Naru as he dashed up the tree to the canopy. Sasake entered the hollow to rest while Sakura undressed to bathe in the river. Kagura no Shingen Na whispered under his breath, activating his long-range sensory abilities. So far so good. I can see Team 8 9 10 Hakushi took the exam solo, Guy Sensei's team, Kabuto's team and Yugito's team. Also there's 2 Odo teams, 1 Kusa team, 3 Sunyuna teams and 2 other Kumo teams left. He heard a scream from far away that Chakra Naruto thought, furrowing his brow. A shadow clone burst into existence next to him. Take Overwatch. Mark the tree and dispel yourself if there's trouble. Naruto ordered. The clone nodded. The original shot off into the trees towards the scream at an extreme speed. When he came to a small clearing, he spotted a redhead girl cowering from her enemy in fear. Her enemy, a bear. With a single roundhouse kick, Naruto took the bear down. The girl scrambled to pick up her fallen glasses and put them on to see her savior. Who are you? Please don't hurt me. Na noticed her flaming red hair. Tell me, are you an Uzumaki? The girl nodded slowly. How did you know? Sir, am I? I'm a censor. You see, my name is Uzuaki Na. The girl looked surprised. I'm a censor, too. My name is Uzumaki. Karen. We're related. Ha, I guess I could call you you. Naruto said as he helped her. Hi, Anarchy, Karen said, trying out the new word on her tongue. She decided she liked how it sounded. Where are your teammates? They're dead. Another team ambushed us, Karen said. Na nodded in understanding. Kuso, he cursed as memories rushed to him. What's wrong, Anarchy? My teammates need me now. Hold on. The Namikaze grabbed his relative and used Horizon to get to the scene. The river tree lookout point. Stay here, he whispered. Forming hand seals, he cast a Heil Genjutsu over her so no one would spot her. Now the enemy, he looked up. It appeared to be a Kusukunoiki. The overpowering scent of snakes said otherwise. He narrowed his eyes as his teammates took stances beside him. Ororu, what do you want, Kyuku? How intuitive of you, Narutkan. He said, chuckling as he tore the Kusukunoki's skin off himself like a suit. I came for the Uchiha. Sasake activated his sharing. No way in hell, you pedophile. Orochimaru looked stung by the insult. Let's play, he hissed, flashing through hand seals. Ku's no Jutsu. A giant snake appeared with a burst of smoke, slightly unnerving Team 7's members. Well, except Na. Take care of Narokan right there in the middle, Orochimaru ordered. The snake lunged at him, smashing the spot where the three genins used to be. Na ran from his teammates and led the snake away. When they were alone, Na sneered as his eyes turned a ruby red with 3 swirling magatama. Sharing, the snake fell under Naruto's hypnotism, which allowed the blonde to finish it off quickly. When he got back to his team, he could see that they were obviously struggling against Orochimaru. Sasake was in fact frozen with fear. Sasake, snap out of it and do something. Na yelled fiercely. That was all it took as Sasuke's gaze hardened. He just upgraded to a pair of 2 Tomo sharing. Na smiled as both glared at Orochimaru with their sharing. Junidita Na asked, "Hi." Sasake flashed through hand seals while Naruto's eyes warped into a pair of Mangekyo. His left eye was amassing chakra, preparing to use Kagutsuki on Sasuke's technique. As the fire spewed forth from his mouth, they morphed into multiple dragon heads. Both yelled, Kaden Goryuka no Jutsu Fire Style Great Dragon Fire Jutsu. Instinctively, Orochimaru raised his hands to block the Kadenjutsu. All go, Sasake uttered as he sped forward. Naruto unleashed a volley of Canis after him, making sure none hit his teammate. They rained on Orochimaru, pelting him with the sharp instruments. When behind him, Sasake plucked up a Kani from the air and began slashing at Orochimaru. Na both sharing users dashed forward with their Kanai, meeting each other in the center where the target was. They delivered 2 fatal wounds to the snake sunning. Orochimaru calloused to the floor, his sharing and glowing. Sasake declared Kogu Chiha no Chikarada. Sakura smiled at their efficient teamwork. This was one of their favorite collaboration in jutsus called Mid-Air Setsa Turbulent 4 Seasons. The sound of clapping echoed across the river. I thought you were good but not that good. You just proved me wrong. You too, Naruto-kun. I didn't expect the Sharingan, much less the Mangekyo from you, Orochimaru rasped, licking his lips in anticipation. The Orochimaru that they beat melted into mud. Tisk, mud clone, Na muttered under his breath. The blonde quickly drew 3 arrows, launching them at Orochimaru. He quickly avoided them though narrowly. Na jumped at the snake sunning, starting out with a spinning kick. After the new cannon blocked it, the blonde turned another 180 degrees in midair with another kick. This time, Orochimaru swiped the foot away, pushing Naruto away from him. As the blonde spun, his hand pulled a kanai from his holster and slashed downwards. Predictably, the flexible body of the Sonin allowed him to turn his body and avoid the slash, which he then capitalized on and grabbed Naruto's outstretched arm, pulling him forward. Naruto's sharing foresaw that, so he made use of his momentum to do a front flip while kicking the Sonin in the face. Orochimaru glared at him. Suddenly his tongue extended from his mouth, its tip wrapped around a sword that Naro recognized as the legendary Kusanagi no Tsurugi grass-mowing sword. The Kusanagi shot towards Naruto as a thrust parried quickly by the Kubikiri Boko. Its superior weight threw off Orochimaru's sword, implanting it into a tree trunk. The Sannin had to jump up to avoid a fireball from Sasake. Then he formed his arms in a crossword in order to block a punch from Sakura. However, the strength behind the blow was still enough to send him flying into an adjacent tree, leaving behind a crater. Na went behind his teammates while sealing away the giant sword. You guys know what to do? He asked, tapping their backs and handing Sasake the white light chakra saber. Terasu, Triforce, Sakura asked grinning. Sasake flashed through hand seals. Kaden Hosen Nojutsu Fire Style Phoenix Flower Jutsu. He called just as Naruto launched a barrage of horizon at the recovering Orochimaru accompanied by the fireballs. The Sonin's eyes widened and he immediately raised his hands in a block. Meanwhile, Sasake had already begun the next set of hand seals, charging a Chidori 1000 birds that Kakashi Tao. GHT him for the Chunin exams. Sakura had chakra pulled in her limbs, ready for a smackdown. Yashakuyo, Naruto said, teleporting both of them with Horizon to the can. His Horizon could teleport other people with or without himself as long as he was physically connected with them or with his chakra. Sasake appeared with a Kana on top of Orochimaru and came down with the Chidori, striking his back. Sakura appeared behind him. Using one hand, she leapt over Sasuke's bent back and sent a kick to the Sonin's head, followed by another one, which propelled him away from them. After she rolled away to the floor safely, Sasaki sprinted after the stumbling Sonin and uppercut him with the Chidori, with himself ending up in the sky. Sasaki Sakura, Naruto called as he teleported towards Orochimaru, Horizon Kana in hand. Sasaki drew the Hako Chakrata and dropped down while Sakura took out a Kana with chakra around it, running towards the Sunning. All three gave a battle cry as they slashed Orochimaru with their respective weapons. The Sunning collapsed to the floor and coughed up a pool of blood. His skin was charred and bruised where the Chidori and Sakura's kicks hit, along with 3 deep gashes where their blades hit. The Uchiha returned the Tonto to Naruto and they jumped away from Orochimaru as his mouth opened. The snake Sunning hissed before his mouth opened unbelievably wide. He was vomiting out himself. Team 7's Genins flinched in disgust. A new Orochimaru crawled out of his old body, unharmed, as if he just shedded his skin. Not bad for a bunch of Genins to force me to shed my old body. The Sonin praised. Just what the hell are you? Sakura cried. Watching Orochimaru vomit himself out made her want to vomit. He tough question. The Sonin replied with a syringe in hand. He lunged suddenly at Sasaki, who clearly ran out of chakra. Na instinctively performed a kawarimi with him, bracing himself as the cold metal of the needle pierced the soft skin of his neck. The liquid entered his bloodstream quickly before Orochimaru even had a chance to pull out. Never mind, you'll define as well. Then the Sonin did the unexpected. His neck extended and his teeth latched onto Sasaki's neck, puncturing it like a vampire. The Uchiha cried out loud, clutching his neck in pain. 3 black tomo appeared in the pattern of a Mitsudo on his skin. It was the Ten-no-en, or the cursed seal of heaven. Orochimaru's neck retracted quickly and he gave a few parting words. If you want power, come to me, Uchiha Sasaki. Then he disappeared in a swirl of leaves. Naruto thought worriedly. What the hell did he inject into me? He was feeling queasy, like he wanted to vomit. He emptied his breakfast into the river. Sakura went to him and began applying medical chakra. He felt slightly better, but she insisted that he had to rest. While she attended to Sasaki, Naruto undid the genjutsu on Karen. After a few introductions, he and she went to sleep in the giant tree hollow. It was quite comfortable and shady as well. Sakura brought Sasaki into the hollow and cast a genjutsu over the hollow, making it disappear. It was getting late into the evening. The next morning, Naruto's eyes opened and blinked. Sitting up, he stretched himself lightly, noting that the other 3 was still asleep. Naruto planted his signature kanai into the hollow in case one of them woke up and found him missing. He exited the tree hollow and noticed the genjutsu over it. While it was nothing against his sharing, he was impressed that Sakura bothered. He cast a better genjutsu over it. Na shot up into the canopy, extending his senses for enemies. H11 o'clock 2 kilometers. He drew 3 arrows, sharing glowing. As he released the bowstring and the flights of the arrows, they picked up speed and shot through the forest. 2 kilometers away, a light whizzing sound was the last thing they heard before all 3 in that team dropped dead. Back at the tree lookout point, Naruto smirked, feeling their chakra signatures vanish. He surveyed the area. The rest of the rookie 9, Guy Sensei's team, Kabuto's team, Yugito's team, Haku, and 1 Odo team left. He cursed in his urge to count the teams. He didn't realize the 1 from Odo were closing in on him fast. 2 shinobi and 1 kunoichi entered the clearing, though they haven't spotted Na yet. Where's that Uchiha? One of the shinobi said. So, they were after Sasaki. The kunoichi replied, I don't know, but Orochimaru-sama said to kill him and that they were at the river. Orochimaru sent them. Why would he? Unless he wanted to test Sasaki with that cursed seal. Naruto jumped down and caused the 3 to flinch and move back. I recognize you. You're the one that pulled Kabuto away. The last shinobi said he realized that he was the Odo nin who attacked Kabuto. Wait, he called him Kabuto, knowing his name. That screamed Kabuto's involvement with Odoga and by extension probably Orochimaru as well. Where's your teammate? The first shinobi asked. Na didn't answer and spun his kanai quickly. Not going to answer Zaku. Get him. The other shinobi shouted and the first lunged at the blonde. Na kicked him into a tree, easily making him hack up blood. You son of a, he swore, but was cut off by the kanai implanting next to his head. Na didn't feel like killing first thing in the morning. Lucky them. The kunoichi shot off after the first, using strings and bells to weave a net around Na. Impatient, A black aura surrounded the blonde and repelled the kunoichi, destroying the strings and bells in the process. The remaining shinobi said, "You took down Zaku and Kin easily. You were good," Na snorted. A purple aura appeared from the hollow, from Sasek's body. When it receded, black markings spread from the seal to the rest of his body. The awake Sasake was a blur to the last shinobi's eyes. When he reached him, his arms were seized from behind. Sasake, in all his bloodlust, planted a foot on his back and pulled hard. "Arg!" he cried as his arms were broken. Gar frowned. "Sa's, stop it. Don't let the Tennoin control you." A shadow clone appeared behind Sasake and restrained him. The marks receded. "Dao," Zaku shouted. Then he said, "Well, strike a deal. We give you the scroll and we'll leave you alone." Chin whispered to Zaku. Orochimaru-sama didn't say anything about a cursed seal. Naruto with his enhanced senses heard it, so he was right. Orochimaru did want to test them. Zaku quickly took out an earth scroll and set it on the floor. Grabbing his two teammates, they ran away. Naruto picked up the scroll while eyeing Sasake carefully. "Sasake, we need to seal away that cursed seal of yours. If it acts up in the middle of something important, you're screwed." The Uchiha nodded obediently and sat down, taking off his shirt. Na took out a bottle of chakra ink and marked 2 concentric circles on the floor around the raven. Then, drawing a bit of blood, he wrote many characters on the floor and then on Sasek's body leading to his neck where the cursed seal was. "Ready. This will be quick but painful. Rabbit, snake, horse, ram, bird, tiger, rabbit, snake, horse, ram, bird, tiger, rabbit, snake, horse, ram, bird, dog, ra. T. Fujutsu, Fujahoin, Sheikaling Jutsu, evil sealing method." The blood markings crawled up Sasake's skin and surrounded the curse mark, causing pain on the Uchiha's part. "Rest up. We'll get you to the tower," Naruto said and carried Sasake after he put on his shirt. The blonde woke up the 2 girls and began traveling to the tower. The 4 made it to the center of the training ground quickly without many interferences except the occasional animal that blocked them. Upon reaching there, Na opened both scrolls and in a puff of smoke, Aruka appeared. "Congratulations, you're the second team to make it. You can rest for the next few days. The tower has many facilities," Aruka said and ushered them into rooms. After laying Sasake down, Naruto went to look for Enko about the whole situation with Orochimaru and the Tennojin. Suddenly, a burst of smoke in the control room revealed Misru the spy fox. "Naruto, it appears you were right. That man Kabuto was working for Orochimaru." Na narrowed his eyes. "Apart from that, it appears that Orochimaru is planning an invasion during the 3rd test." This shocked the occupants of the room to their core, especially Hirozen. "What, are you sure?" The fox nodded. "In between the 1st and 2nd test, I followed Kabuto into the Forest of Death. He met with Orochimaru and talked about what I mentioned earlier." Sarutobi grimaced. "If that's true, we'll need to set up the village for defense. Let all Jonin and above Konoha-nin know and prepare." "Hi, Hokage-sama. I've got a plan," Naruto said and explained it to the aged Hokage who smiled and agreed. Na then went for some training. When he practiced senjutsu, he was surprised by how quickly he had entered sage mode without even sitting still. "Is it something that Orochimaru injected into me?" Na thought. Kurama already checked the bloodstream. It clearly wasn't poison. It was cells. Cells of 2 different people apparently. Yes. One is the cells of Senju Hashiyama. Kurama had explained you will gain many benefits. This will not only increase your healing factor, it will also increase your stamina chakra pools and you can wield his Mokuden. Also, dojutsu like Kototsuki will take a shorter time to be able to use again. For example, you could only use it once in a year for each eye. Now you can use it once every week per eye. Your Kimui intangibility now lasts 20 minutes at one go and you will no longer bleed when using Amaterasu or Tsukuyomi. Hashiyama's cells and your Uzumaki heritage has increased your life force to a point so potent, it has negated Sasano's life-sucking disadvantage. It also extends your capacity for natural energy, allowing your body to use sage mode for a longer period of time. However, I have no idea whose cells the second one belongs to. The thing I observe is that you seem to be able to absorb natural energy innately without even having to stay still or meditate. Like, it's just natural, pardon the pun, Kurama said. Na began training his new abilities like Mokuden. Soon the other teams arrived over the days. Hyuga Neji, Tenten, Rock Lee, Aburame Shino, Hyuga, Hinata, Inuzuka, Kiba, Naru Shikamaru, Yaman, Nakainino, Akamaki Choji, Yuki Haku, Niugo, Abumizaku, Sachichin, Kinyodosu, Yukushi Kabuto, Akado, Yo, Roy, and Tsurugi Masumi. On the 5th day, the people who passed, not including Karen, proceeded to a room in the tower. It was a big arena with balconies on the higher level. At one of the ends on the lower level, there was a statue of the Sandame's hands in the Hatsuji hand seal. Due to this year having a large amount of candidates making it to the last test, we will require a preliminary stage to be held. This test is one-on-one combat. The winners will make it to the finals in months' time and battle it out from there. The Hokage said. The proctor explained after taking over, I'm Gecko Hayat, the proctor for this stage. The names of the fighters will be selected randomly with this electronic board. You win by either knocking out the opponent or killing him or her, though that is highly discouraged. When I call the match, it shall end immediately or you will be disqualified. Understood. The Genins nodded. Let the preliminary stage of the final exam begin. Deleted scenes. Na was scouting from the tree when he felt the surroundings suddenly become much colder. So cold in fact that it began to snow. What the hell? How is it snowing in the middle of summer? This is fire country for Cam's sake. Na yelled, wait, is this a genjutsu? No, came a soft voice from behind. Naruto turned around only to see Haku dressed in bright red with fluffy white trimmings and a matching hat. Merry Christmas. But first, anyone wants to forfeit? It won't affect your team now. Hayat asked. Kabuto forfeited. That sneaky bastard. Also, UGIO's 2 teammates left. The electronic board began flashing through the remaining 20 names. Uchiha Sasake vs Yoroi Akado. The 2 shinobi jumped down from the balconies and landed before the proctor. Hajime Akado ran towards Sasake and placed a hand on his forehead, sucking chakra. The Uchiha did not take kindly to this and grabbed his arm. Swinging hard, he slammed Akado into the floor. The genin glared at him and tried to sweep him, but Sasuke jumped up and avoided it. Akado stood up. Sasake ran towards him and kicked him skywards. The Uchiha then jumped up after him. Kage Buo, he shouted, then punched and kicked the older teen in midair. Shashi Rendan barrage of lions. Lastly, he came down with a chop to Akad's stomach, hand crackling with electricity. The older teen blacked out. Shosha Uchiha Sasake Aburame Shino vs Abume Zaku Hajime haha, watch out, I'll beat you with a single punch. Zaku taunted. The stoic Aram was unfazed. Let me show you the power of insects. Shino said, and the sound of buzzing filled the arena. Zaku snorted. Then let me show you the power of sound. Zanka decapitating airwaves. He shouted while thrusting out his hands. A giant wave of air shot towards Shino, who merely stood there and took it head on. When it collided with the Aburame, he dispersed into a swarm of insects. Zaku felt his chakra being drained quickly and turned around. It was too late, for Shino's hand had already risen. Millions of insects swarmed the Odo Nin like a tornado, producing a loud buzzing noise. Thicker and darker purple lines of even more insects spiraled up the tornado. Kika sunny parasitic insects, pupa, Shino uttered. The tornado exploded. Then the insects re-entered his sleeve. Zaku was lying on the floor out cold. Medics carried his body away on a stretcher as Hayate announced. Shosha Aram Shino Sabaku no Konyuro vs Shugi Masumi. Hajime Konyuro took off the wrapped bundle on his back and set it on the floor. Misumi ran at the puppeteer and jumped onto him. Then using a jutsu, the Odo Nin dislocated his own joints and used chakra to wrap around Konko. Forfeit or I'll break your neck. Conqueror smirked in response before breaking into multiple parts. A puppet, Sumi thought. The puppet's arms wrapped around him, crushing his bones. The bundle on the floor opened, revealing it to be the real Conqueror. His hand was aglow with chakra strings attached from his fingertips to the puppet. Just think how much more flexible you could become if your bones are crushed, he said, then squeezed his fist. Every single bone in Mumi's body broke, Hayat declared, due to his opponent being unable to conti. New. The winner is Sabaku no Konka. Next match, Haruno Sakura vs Yamanaka Hajime. The 2 girls jumped into the arena and faced each other. Ino rushed towards her, to which she sidestepped and punched her face with her chakra-enhanced strength. Naruto winced. Ino got up with a hand cupping her bruised cheek. Sakura ran towards her while throwing her espen, planting it in her pressure points as Haku lectured. The Yamanaka collapsed onto the floor, pathetically put into a near-death state by Sakura. Medics took her away as Hayate called the match. Shosha Haruno Sakura. Next match. Yugito vs Yuki Haku. The two kunoichi walked down the stairs and stepped onto the platform. Hajime Haku disappeared, reappearing near Yugito in an attempt to sweep her legs. The agile Kumo Nin back flipped away and brought a hand seal up to her mouth. A fireball shot out, heading for Haku. Within a few one-handed hand seals, an ice mirror appeared and blocked the fireball. Yugo narrowed her cat-like eyes. She ran at Haku and began engaging her in taijutsu. Both were good. While Haku was fast in her speed, Yugito was very nimble and had good reflexes. In the end, Yugito's stamina as a Gingariki won out as Haku felt tired and couldn't avoid the kick to her stomach. You're not bad for a kunoichi, unlike those fang girls I keep hearing about that spoil our names, Yugito praised. Haku nodded in acknowledgement before flashing through a set of hand seals. Ice mirrors surrounded Yu-Gi-Oh in a house-like formation. Hyoten Makio Hyosho Yugo began throwing fireball after fireball in an attempt to escape. However, it was useless. Haku began a relentless rain of sunbi on the Kumo Nin. She did not expect red chakra to wrap around her target and expel all the sunburns with force. Then the chakra exploded in a wave, shattering the ice mirrors instantly. The creature emerging from the debris stunned everyone present. It was the Nibi in all her glory. Haku shouted, "I forfeit." Yugito hearing this reversed the transformation back into herself. Hayate shook his head. Genins these days not knowing when to use low-level techniques. Shosha Niugo. Next match. Tenten vs Sabaku. No. Tamari. Hajime. With her wind en jutsu, Tamari deflected Tenten's weapons easily. Since Tenten was a weapon specialist, she stood no chance. It was simply her misfortune. The match ended when Tamari used the Futon Kadiaki no Jutsu wind-style sickle weasel jutsu and injured her with a tornado of wind blades. Shosha Sabaku no Tamari. Up next, Na Shikamaru vs Suchichan Hajime. The Odo Kunoichi grew a tick mark on her forehead when she saw her opponent. Yan Mendokus Na Shikamaru complained, earning a glare from Keichan. Shut up and fight. Lazy ass NPO Kajane no Jutsu Ninja Art Shadow Possession Jutsu. Shikamaru called his hands in the rat hand seal. A shadow line shot from his shadow and raced towards Kin's. She wove strings and bells around Shikamaru and caused a genjutsu to affect him, making him see multiple copies of her. He couldn't tell which the real one, so he couldn't aim the shadow jutsu. Or so she thought. Kajane Seiko Shikamaru said, smirking. But how? Chin asked. Unable to move. Shikamaru released the jutsu slightly so that she could turn her head. The strings she used earlier also had shadows, and since they came from her, their shadows were linked to hers. The genius Na had used this strategy to connect his shadow to hers, thus successfully paralyzing her. Oerida Shikamaru called and drew a kanai from his holster. Chin, forced to copy his actions, did the same. Shikamaru aimed at her head and threw the kanai from the right side. Chin did the same while aiming at Shikamaru, and the canis didn't clash. Instead, they flew towards their targets. The strategist bent his back sharply, avoiding the kanai a la Matrix. Chin copied his action. However, her back was near the wall. Her head impacted with the wall and knocked her out. Shikamaru released the shadow possession. Shosha Nara Shikamaru Hayate declared impressed at his strategy, though it was expected of Anara Mendokus. Now I have to take part in the finals, he drawled, dragging his body up the stairs. Na shook his head at his laziness in Isuka Ka vs Sabaku no Proctor. I forfeit. Ka shouted. Na didn't blame him, he had heard the gory tales of what Ga did with his sand. The redhead growled at not being able to kill something. Winner by forfeit. Sabaku no next. Hyuga Hinata vs Hyuga Neji. The cousins locked eyes. Na activated his Sharingan discreetly. He might be able to pick up some Juken gentle fist moves. Hajime Byakugan. Both Hyugas yelled. Veins became visible at the sides of their eyes, which had turned a pure white, save thin black lines marking their irises. The two began an impressive taijutsu brawl. Juken vs Juken. Hinata-sama. Fate has already declared me the winner. Forfeit or you shall suffer. Nei warned. Hinata stuttered. I won't give up. That is my nindo. The branch house member glared at the A's. Then suffer you will, Neji said coldly. He lunged at Hinata, who took a step back. As they exchanged quick blows, bursts of chakra were visible to the spectators. The girl was slowly losing ground, shown when she took a blow to her chest. Her cousin span around and delivered a kick, followed by a vicious uppercut. Hinata sprayed blood across the floor with trails of it flowing from her mouth with her sprawled on the floor. Na glared angrily at Nei. He didn't have to resort to such violence. I told you once, a loser, always a loser. Give up, he said. Hinata gave him a look full of determination despite her condition, sitting up. I told you I won't give up. Her cousin jumped towards her for the last time. Juken, he shouted, a burst of chakra shooting from his fingertip and entering her heart. He was about to finish her off when the proctor and the 4 sensei from Konoha sprang into action, restraining him. He scowled. So this is the special treatment the main house gets? He asked. No, you have clearly won the match. There was no need for your extra violence. Kakashi answered. Medics entered the arena and quickly brought Hinata away. Hayate announced in distaste. Shosha Hyuga Neji. The next match will be Uzumaki Naruto vs Rock Lee. The boy with the bowl cut that looked like a mini guy entered the arena enthusiastically. I'm Rock Lee Narokan, and our battle shall pit my flames of youth against yours. The blonde smirked. Fine. I will only fight you with taijutsu. Guy shook his head. Na was playing a dangerous game. Hajime Lee was off, starting with a roundhouse kick. Kona Hainu Leaf Whirlwind, he shouted. Na blocked it and winced at the impact. The blonde's hands quickly shifted to his opponent's leg, grabbing it and spinning around. He slammed Lee into the ground. Lee planted his hands on the ground in a breakfall, then shot out his other leg in a mule kick. Naruto jumped back. So Lee used the momentum from his failed kick to ride himself to a standing position. The Gingari grinned. This was getting interesting. Kona Hadanu Leaf Great Whirlwind, Lee shouted, starting with a low kick that was blocked. He then rotated, going for a middle kick followed by a high kick. Na still blocked the strikes, but he didn't expect the blunt force behind the last strike, which was a heel drop. It sent him crashing into the ground. When he got up, Naruto said, payback time. He disappeared, then reappeared behind Lee, performing a speedy roundhouse kick. Kona Hagariki Senpu, Leaf's strong whirlwind. His opponent wasn't fast enough to block it. So, he took the kick head on. A mistake on Lee's part. He realized as he was flung like a mere rag doll across the arena. Na was not done. In fact, he just started. He shifted to the offensive and quickly pummeled Lee into the ground again and again. Lee, take him off. Guy yelled from the balcony. But Guy Sensei, you said I could only take him off when my precious people or Nindo was threatened. This is an exception, Lee. Guy shouted, giving a nice guy pose with a thumbs up and his teeth gleaming. All right, Lee replied, jumping to the top of the statue of the third's hands. He took off his orange leg warmers, revealing a set of weights underneath. When he dropped them down, they landed in a giant crater with a loud boom. Guy, are you crazy? Kakashi scolded. He can handle them. Guy replied, weights, huh? Well, Fu and Jutsukai, Na said instantly. He felt lighter, much lighter. Lee disappeared in a show of speed, attacking with a large variation of strikes. Na kept up with him easily now that his weights were gone. Lee furrowed his brow in frustration. Lee, how much weight do you carry? Na asked as he deflected another punch and retaliated with a kick. 100 kilograms in total, Lee answered as he tried to deliver another punch. The crowd was thinking that Lee might have overdone it. Might. Well, I carry 200 per leg, Na said. The spectators went bananas. How the hell was he walking? That is most youthful, Naruto__, Lee replied. Then he realized that it would be bad for him. The boy back flipped far away, then put his hands in a cross guard. Forgive me for this. Guy Sensei Kimen Kai Human Gate of Rest. Kai Simon Gate of Life. Kai Shaman Kai Gate of Pain. Kai Toman Gate of Closing. Kai his power and speed increased by 700% with his skin turning red. A blue aura surrounded him. Guy, what the hell were you thinking? Teaching him the gates? Kakashi asked. Guy replied, it's his last resort to save his precious people and guard his Nindo. Nothing is more important than that. Kakashi sighed. If he thought that was bad, The next thing that was going to happen was worse. Naruto smiled. Two can play this game. Hachiman Tonko. Dooku Kaiman. Kai. 8 gates released. 6th gate of joy. Release. Immediately, a green aura shot out and surrounded the blonde. The ground around him cracked from the sheer power exuded, steaming hot with vapor trails. He disappeared from view, reappearing underneath Lee. He kicked him up with so much force that he nearly hit the ceiling. Na jumped up after him. Asaku Jaku, he yelled, surprising everyone who knew this technique. What? He knows that move, Guy practically hollered. But instead of scolding him for using such a dangerous K-jutsu, he shouted, how youthful. The speed at which his punches connected with Lee's body caused so much friction that his fists caught fire, adding to the damage done to Lee's body. Somehow, Lee still seemed to be conscious. It must have been the gates and his natural durability. Knowing Guy would have pounded that into his student the first chance he got. Le forfeit now, Naruto warned. The stubborn youth, no pun intended, shook his head. I must push through, Naruto sighed. You leave me no choice. Car gate of shock. Kai. He elbowed the teen into the air once again following him. He first gathered the air around him into his fist through a hand seal followed by another which was respo. N Sybil for increasing its pressure to extreme levels. The third and last hand seal resembled a tiger head. This was responsible for the shape transformation of the highly pressurized air into a tiger. The whole jutsu didn't require chakra, for it was pure taijutsu. Na opened the mock mouth of the hand seal, shouting, High aura. The white tiger with blue eyes surrounding him roared and shot off towards its target. Lee Guy could only watch in horror and fascination as his student was swallowed by the tiger which slammed into the ground, bursting into a giant torn. Adieu. Na landed safely and closed the gates. Hayat sighed. Seriously, what's with genins these days? Not knowing how to use less power, Na grinned like a Cheshire cat. Though inwardly he was worried about Lee's condition, he hoped he had not killed him. Shosha Uzumaki Na. The last match is Akamaiki Choji vs Kanidosu. Hijime, do your worst, Fatso. The Oto Nin taunted. Choji narrowed his eyes. His buttons had just been pushed hard. What did you say? I'm just a little chubby. Okay, Choji yelled, forming a hand seal. He shouted, Baika no Jutsu expansion jutsu. Then he jumped forward while tucking himself into a ball. Niku and Senya human bullet tank. The Odo Nin thrust out his bandage-wrapped arms which were still recovering from being broken by Sasake. Zanka air blasted out in an attempt to slow down or even stop the technique. However, it wasn't a clan technique for nothing. Shoji kept on rolling and eventually overcame the air. He shot up and slammed down on Dao, who jumped back to avoid the ball. When his back neared the wall, the Odo Nin sidestepped the rolling ball like a matador against an angry bull. The ball plowed into the wall, stuck. Dao took the change and plunged his arm into the ball, flicking his gauntlet. Sound echoed through the entire body and knocked Shoji unconscious. Shosha Kanidosu. With that, the third test preliminaries are over. Hayate announced. See you in 1 month at the Kona Hachunan exam stadium for the finals. Dismissed. The remaining genins filed out of the room. Na walked up to Yugo and chatted her up on the way home. Could you show me around Konoha? Sure. Na replied cheerfully, taking her hand. He took her on a tour all around town. From the beautiful survival training ground which blossomed with sakura trees to his favorite spot in Konoha atop his father's stone head on the Hokage monument watching the sun set. Whoa, it's beautiful, she said, taking in the breathtaking view. Just like you, came Naruto's flirtatious reply. Oh, are you trying to flirt with me? Yugo asked cheekily. That I am. Will you go out with me? Na asked hopefully. No, she answered curtly. Watching the expression on his face, she burst out laughing. Just kidding. I will. Na smiled and hugged her tightly. Then he jumped off the monument, bringing both of them down before they disappeared in a yellow flash. They reappeared at Ikyaku Ramen for dinner. After some light conversation and 20 miso ramen bowls each, they left the stand contented. I had fun tonight. I guess we could go for a second date. Naruto, Yugo commented. Na grinned happily. Does that mean you're officially my girlfriend? She nodded in agreement. The blonde male then brought her to the hot springs for a relaxing unwind time after the exams, only to find a giggling man in his 50s, spying on the female section of the hot ring. He was tall with waist-length spiky white hair tied back into a ponytail with two bangs framing his face. He also had red lines that ran down from his eyes and wore a horned forehead protector with the kanji for oil. He wore a green short shirt kimono and matching pants under which he wore mesh armor that showed out of the sleeves and legs of his outfit. His outfit was completed with handguards, a simple black belt, traditional Japanese ghetto, wooden sandals, a red hari with two simple yellow circles on each side and a giant scroll on his back. Yugo was burning holes into his back. She was about to step up when Na stuck out a hand, blocking her. "I'll handle this with 6 words." Naruto whispered, winking. She raised an eyebrow, interested to see what he would do. He formed the tiger hand seal and approached the man from behind. Kanahagaka Hiden Taijutsu Ogi, Sengarashi Leaf Secret Taijutsu Technique. 1,000 years of death. Extras. This is an exception. Lee Guy shouted, giving a nice guy pose with a thumbs up and his teeth gleaming. Guy Sensei Lee. Holy, __, it's the Sishin. No Yui. Sunset of youth. Everyone take cover. Na yelled. Everyone except Guy and Minagu shut their eyes tight, hands over their ears, and squatting in a position one would usually take to avoid a grenade explosion. "Is it over?" someone asked. "No," Na warned. But it was too late for the foreigner. He was knocked out immediately by the youthfulness of the setting sun. This cursed genjutsu, not even the sharing could break it. That was the beginning of the legendary S-ranked K-jutsu known as the Sashin no Yui, an unbreakable genjutsu that would later be documented in the Forbidden Scroll of Sealing. He rammed his 4 fingertips into the man's butt with chakra, sending him splashing into a pool of agitated women. After exacting female fury on him, the man was kicked out of the bathhouse and onto the grass where Naruto and Yugito stood. The man looked up and glared. "Serves you right, you old pervert," Na said, hands on his hips. "Not just any pervert. I'm a super pervert," the man said, standing up. Then he jumped up, clapping his sandals together before landing on a single foot in a dramatic kabuki pose. "I'm Jiraiya of the Densetsu no Sanin, legendary 3 ninja, the legendary Gama Shinan, Toad Sage of Mayoboku and Mount Mai." "Aboku, you're Jiraiya?" Yugo asked. He looked up hopefully at the beautiful teenager. "I'm disgusted," she spat. Na laughed at his reaction. "I'm Uzuaki Na. This is my girlfriend, Niugo," he introduced. "Did you say Uzumaki Na?" Jiraiya said, snapping out of his pose. "I was asked to teach you by Serbi-sensei. You what could you teach me?" Na scoffed. Jiraiya gave an offended look. "I taught the Yandami. I can teach you his Ringan." Na snorted as Jiraiya stretched out his hand. A spinning blue orb appearing. Na did the same and a whiter orb with buzzing blades spun into existence. "I already know it. Plus, I added my affinity to it." Naruto said, "Well, I could teach you Senjutsu and let you sign the toad summoning contract." Jiraiya offered. He was getting desperate. Na sighed, "Fine, where do I meet you tomorrow?" Jiraiya looked pleased and said, "The survival training ground. 7 in the morning." "All right, come on, Yugo. I'll walk you back to the hotel," Naruto offered, sticking out his hand in a loop. Yugito took his arm and both strode off, leaving Jiraiya to think up of a training plan. Then he went out around town, carrying out the plan for the invasion that he talked to the Hokage about. Survival Training Ground 7A. All right, first tell me your full skill set and things about yourself, Jiraiya requested. Na activated a privacy seal. "Well, I have many crazy skills, so don't interrupt me till I'm done," Na said. Jiraiya nodded. "Firstly, I had 7 sensei, not including you. They were Hitaki Kakashi, Uchiha Itachi, Namikaze, Narumi, Uchiha, Makoto, Maid Guy, Yui Karani, and Isuki Yuga. The reason for this is simple. I have sensory abilities far surpassing any other sensor in history due to my Uzumaki blood as well as the Aobi's negative emotion sensing. You may say my ancestor Azumakimito. However, this coupled with the fact that I am already a sage makes me the most powerful sensor that exists or existed. Next, my sharing, one of my paternal ancestors must have been an Uchiha. Don't give me that face. Yes, I'm aware that my father is Namikaze Manado. I have 3 Thomas plus the Mangekyo of which I wield 4 special abilities. Kimui, Amaterasu, Kagatsuki, and Susanoo, which I have mastered with special weapons and managed to stabilize up to level 2 with 4 arms and faces in total. Talking about my father, I mastered the Renin and as demonstrated yesterday, added my affinity to it. There is a more destructive version of the Futon Ringan. It's called the Futon Rinshuriken. I've also learned the Horizon. In fact, I came up with a more effective Jutsu Sha. As for my Taijutsu, it's a mix between the Uchiha's Interceptor Fist and the Hyuga's Juken, as well as some Goken's Strong Fist. In it, I learned to use my sharing to predict and intercept my opponent's strikes, as well as use that to tap pressure points. It may not be the Bakugan, but the layout of the pressure points is the same for everyone. So, I basically memorized and superimposed the pressure points on the opponent. My Goken comes from Gai Sensei. The Interceptor Fist comes from Itachi Sensei and Makoto Sensei, while I learned the pressure points from my friend Yuki Haku. I can open all Hachimen without dying and can perform the Amit Rodo Mine and Jutsu. I have affinities for all 5 elements and I can use the Cage Bunch. I have created 5 more elemental versions with various effects, and I also know the Taju Cage Bunch and Nojutsu Bunch and D Bakua and Shuriken Cage Bunch and no Jutsu. I possess flaming golden chakra chains, most likely an effect from my Azuaki blood. I also have such a high affinity for water that I can perform the Suiruden in 3 hand seals instead of the usual 44. My affinity for wind and fire are equally high, while my Doton and Raiden are just slightly behind. I know Jutsuis of all ranks from each element. Being a good sensor, I also know how to avoid detection. I'm very good with the Mayaka no Jutsu. Irian non-jutsu. Well, I know how to perform the chosen jutsu, but that is never for myself. Due to the Keibi and Miyazumaki blood, I have a strong healing factor. This was augmented recently by Senju Hashiyama's cells, which your teammate Orochimaru injected into me. Oh. And I can wield the Moken, though I need some more training. If I ever need to regenerate a lost limb urgently, I have the Bakugo Noin and the Susei for that, which by the way allows me to use your other teammate's super strength. Jiraiya was getting angry at Orochimaru. What the hell was he doing? Running around with the cells of the first and injecting it into whom he saw fit. Only 2 people had ever survived that. One was Naruto. The other was an ANBU named Yamato. Genjutsu. Well, I guess you could say that I'm an expert. With my high chakra level and my sharing, I can cast powerful genjutsus from far away, allowing me to inflict, intensify, or relocate pain, drive a person into insanity, and take control over his mind. At this, Jiraiya shivered, deciding never to anger him again. Fu and Jutsu. I'm a level 15 seal master, currently having created and improved many seals. The Gojo Kibaku Fuda Gojo Kai Renden and the Fujutsu Shishi Jan are just some of them. I can already use the Fu and Jutsu Fujahoin and the Fujutsu Fukahoin sealing technique fire sealing method. As mentioned earlier, I improved the Horizon and I have the Byakugo no Inuyuakimo and Senjusanade. Jiraiya looked impressed. Level 15 at age 12. Just wow. It was probably the Uzumaki blood and his dad's obsession with seals. Kenjutsu. I hear that I'm at the level of the Kirino Shinobatana Shichen and Shu. I have the Hako Chakuru, the Kubia, and the Ran Noken Senjutsu. I learned how to wield natural energy roughly 8 months ago using my sharing. Apparently, Shidaime-sama's cells increase my capacity for senjutsu. Talking about cells, I also received another type of cells, one that allowed me to gather natural energy without staying put. Jiraiya was getting more and more surprised. A sage, master swordsman, a seal master, a genjutsu, enjutsu, and taijutsu master at the same time. What were the odds? Buki jutsu weapon techniques. I'm pretty good with my bow and arrows. If need be, my bow can be converted into a nunchuck, which I'm good with as well. Shuriken jutsu. My aim is impeccable to say the least. I can fire off 10 shuriken in separate directions and hit the bullseye all at once. I'm on good terms with the Keibi. So, I have enhanced senses, speed, strength, chakra level, and control. However, the seal is preventing us from having any further teamwork than the current level. By the way, I have the Fox summoning contract, the boss summon as the Keibi himself. That's all. Jiraiya stroked his chin, thinking, well, that's an impressive skill set you have there. I'd say you are low cage level and are just short of beating me. Na snorted as he released the jutsu. So, What is your training plan? I'll first let you sign the Toad summoning contract, then bring you to Myobokuzen for Toad Sage training. Time in Myobokuzen is different from the real world. One day here is a month there. Being a GMA Shinan like myself has more perks than being just a normal sage. The toads have a wide array of jutsu and can also use collaborations. Also, I want to remove that barrier between you and the Kayabi if you'd like. You trust him, so I believe that it should be fine to let him have free reign with the seal. This should let you gain much more power in your teamwork, perhaps even enough to manage a tailed beast transformation. Na smiled. Thank you, Erozen. Jiraiya was about to ask him not to call him that when he decided against it. It sounded endearing. He hadn't heard that nickname since. Manado pulling the scroll of his back, Jiraiya said, let's get started. After signing the contract, Na was told to summon any toad. His fingers flew into a short dance as he ran through the short sequence of hand seals. Kushio's no jutsu, two small toads the size of 4 dictionaries stacked atop one another, burst into existence, introducing themselves as Gamakich. Hai and Gamatu, his personal summons. They were the 2 sons of the toad boss, Gamabunta. To summon 2-san, you'll have to use more chakra than that, Gamakichi advised. Na nodded and flashed through the same hand seals. Kushio's no jutsu, a giant red toad wearing a blue happy traditional Japanese straight-sleeved coat with a large tonto strapped to his hip and smoking a pipe appeared. He looked around. Jiraiya boy, why did you summon me when there's nothing to fight? Na replied, Gamabunta-sama, I was the one who summoned you. The toad eyed him carefully. You are Uzuaki Na, so it is him. Well, then do not summon me again unless there's something to fight or you have sake with you. As a matter of fact, I do, Na said, unsealing a bottle of sake. The toad grabbed it with his tongue and drank it all. I like you already. I'll be going, Gamaba said. Na shook his head. Actually, you won't be going alone. Your sons and I will be going as well. I was asked to begin my sage training at Myobokuzen. Jiraiya nodded in agreement. Very well, he replied. All 5 of them disappeared. Myoboku. 7 months later, local time. Naruto was running through the Kawazukumat frog Kada in front of the toad elders Fukusaku and Shima, also known as the Nadanama, 2 great sage toads. Very good, Naruto-chan. Shima praised, clapping her hands. Fukusaku looked on in approval. So far, he had mastered the Kawazukumat and incorporated it into his own style, though most of the time it was only effective in sage mode. He learned how to use chakra flow to add natural energy to his weapons. Also, he had applied senjutsu to most of his en-jutsu, increasing their power by 1 rank. Then he learned rank en-jutsu collaboration techniques with all the toads that he could summon. In all, good progress. He was given the key to the 8 trigrams seal by the scroll toad Gerataura. Taking it, he applied it over the seal on the cave which held Kurama. It glowed a bright yellow and the seal disappeared. In its place were 2 people who he did not expect to see in fighting stances. Chu-chan Ka-chan Na called happily, hugging his parents. They returned it just as fiercely. However, his dad turned to the fox, ready to subdue it. Naruto shook his head and told the tale of how Kurama was controlled by a masked man with the sharing. Then he told them everything exciting since his birth. Kusha was angry with the villagers and wanted to slaughter them one by one. I was right, ha. Before I died, I placed all my willpower into protecting you from harm as I didn't trust the villagers to treat you as a hero. The result was your flaming version of my chakra chains, a manifestation of my vengeance against anyone who tried to bring harm to you, Kusha explained. Naruto gave an, oh, look. When they were told of Narumi, they became sad. However, they were proud of her taking care of her Otudo, even making Kusha's old friend Makoto take care of him before leaving the village with Itachi. The fox yawned lazily and got up, stretching himself. Thanks for the freedom, Kit, Kurama said as he strutted out of the cave and past the waterfall curtain. He dived into the lake soaking in the water. Naro, Manado and Kusha sweat dropped. The fox stretched out his giant fist. Take it. Na raised an eyebrow and bumped his fist against the Kaobus. Chakra power and memories surged through his mind and body. Now both shared a deep understanding of each other. Even seasoned duos couldn't achieve. Minato snapped his fingers. Here's a gift for you, Sochi. Lifting up his shirt past his abdomen. He flashed through a set of hand seals. Then he pressed a hand to his own seal with the other on Naruto's. I'm giving you the yin half of Kurama's chakra. Before the sealing, I split his chakra and soul into 2 parts and sealed the yang half into you and the yin half into myself. Kasha shed a tear. Well, be leaving. There's not much chakra left, she said. Kurama grinned. Try saying that while sitting next to the largest chakra construct existing next to you. Manado face pumped. After instructing her on what to do, the parents touched the fists of Kurama, supplying them with enough chakra to keep them there. Soy, you have already surpassed me, Minato said. But don't let that get to your head, Kusha exclaimed, smacking his head playfully. Na rubbed his head. His mom sure could hit hard. I won't. See you guys later. He exited the mindscape to see Jiraiya's expectant expression. It was met with joy when yellow chakra burst out in a shroud surrounding Naruto as flickering flames. There were 6 Magatama markings around his neck and black swirl designs that resembled the Uzumaki clan symbol on the rest of his body. Kaiba Chakuramoto Ninetails Chakra Mode. Naruto exclaimed, that had a nice ring to it. Manado urged from the mindscape. See if you can enter Bumodo Tailed Beast Mode. Naruto slammed his palms together. A new wave of chakra surged through him, making Jiraiya and the toads nearby shield their faces. The shroud parted down the middle and opened up into a full-length Haori kimono-like jacket, revealing a black undergarment with 3 Magatama on each side of his high collar. The shroud's numerous swirl patterns became complete black circles, and the whisker-like markings on Naruto's face became thicker. I have never felt so alive, Naruto shouted, power coursing through his veins. The yellow chakra shot out around him at his command, shaping into a giant translucent fox with similar markings. Na was standing at the head near the mouth. The size of the fox easily dwarfed the Hokage Tower. It was about the size of the Hokage Monument. Listen, Kit, it's our first time using the Bijuka-tailed beast transformation, so our link ain't perfect. We only got about 5 minutes before my avatar disappears and your Howie reverts back to the shroud in Kaiba Chakra mode. Understood, Wakarasu. Naruto confirmed. Now, about your abilities. I'm the only Buju that can supercharge my Beiju Dharma. Meaning, if you're late to the party, you can always supercharge it to match up to at most 27 tails worth of power. That's right, each tail counts. Having 9 tails, I'm the most powerful Beiju. If by some bad luck a group of my brethren band up together and pull their chakra into a single Biju Dharma, not only does supercharging increase my power by 3-fold to 27 tails, it also makes the Biju Dharma itself much by Uga within a second. Kurama explained. So how do I perform the Biju Dharma anyway? Na asked. Okay, the Bud Dharma is a purple sphere made out of 2 types of chakra, red and blue, meaning demonic and human chakra respectively. You must gather them in the ratio of 8:2 and shape it into a sphere or else it will backfire. In tailed beast mode, just thrust out your hands and my avatar should create the Biju Dharma by itself. However, in your Kaiba Chakra mode, you must create it yourself. Try it now. It should be easy with your sharing. Na nodded. The giant fox avatar receded back into his cloak, which then reverted into the shroud from earlier. His slitted eyes gained 3 tomo before warping into a star with petals. Thus, his training with the Biju Dharma, and later its many variants began. After about a week, he learned how to use Sage mode with the Kaiba Chakra mode, calling the merged state the Biju Senoto Tailed Beast Sage mode. In his eyes, the horizontal bar in Sage mode combined with the slit in Kaiba Chakra mode to form a sort of cross. Jiraiya could tell he was ready to progress to the next stage of his training, which was Enjutsu. How he was beat in a one-on-one Kawazukumat match against Na. The Sonin did not say it, but he was slightly jealous of Naruto for completing Sage training way before he did. Well, he did all he could to teach Na justice from his elements, which were fire, water, and earth. The techniques he learned included Kaiden End Fire Style, Flame Bullet Kaiden, Denden Fire Style, Giant Flame Blast Kaiden, Ruka Nojutsu Sweden, Misidio Water Style, Water Gun, and Dodden Yomi Numa Earth Style, Swamp of the Underworld. He also taught him some tricks with the toad summoning such as Kuisai Kuzushi Nojutsu summoning Bring Down the House Jutsu Kuios Gamaguchi Shibari summoning Toad Mouthbind Kuios Gamas no Jutsu summoning Toad Shop Jutsu. The first one summoned a giant aquamarine toad with an orange sash and 2 Sword strapped to his back, Gamma Hero in midair to land on the enemy and squash him, her or it. The second one was weird. He would summon the esophagus of a great fire-breathing toad from Myobokuin, sending the enemy into its stomach. If activated inside a building or a cave, this trick can ensnare the enemy without them realizing it. In this interior, even the foothold is unreliable. The enemy finds themselves in a tight spot, having a hard time performing at the usual level of skill and unable to find a proper response. The inside of the esophagus is highly flexible and adhesive and won't even allow liberty of movement. In time, the walls of flesh close in and envelop the enemy, dooming them to go inside the stomach where they will be digested. The last one was the weirdest, as Naruto hardly thought that it would work on enemy ninja. But it was worth learning just in case. This technique summons a Mygama shop toad from Myobokuin. This toad has the ability to transform into a building, and with their chakra, the user gives the building a IGN they imagined themselves. The target is then lured inside, for example, with the promise of cheap drinks. Once the target has entered the store, the toad changes back into its original small form, trapping the target inside the toad's stomach. From the moment the cancellation hand seal is performed, it takes only a few seconds for it to return to its original shape, meaning there is little chance of escape. All these elemental enjutsu and summoning tricks were quickly learned due to Naruto's heavy abuse of shadow clones. Then the Sunning taught the blonde one Kekai Enjutsu Barrier Enjutsu Kekai Gamma Hiro Barrier Toad Gourd Prison. The technique summons a small gourd-shaped toad called a Hyoten Gamma Gourd Toad. A unique species of toad indigenous to Mount Myoboku. This technique is used to capture and isolate a victim by dragging them into the toad's stomach. Isolated from the outside world by a barrier, the space inside the gourd toad's stomach is far larger than the surface size of the gourd toad itself. The environment inside the toad's stomach is a cavernous chamber which includes a lake of strong corrosive gastric acid that can dissolve anything that should happen to fall into it, along with shores around the acid lake and formations sticking out of the lake. The already existing structures within the toad's stomach are seemingly unaffected by the acid lake. Once trapped inside, an opponent is cut off from any allies and susceptible to attack and can then be easily defeated. Later, Jiraiya decided to teach Naruto his hair techniques, starting with the Ranji Shigami no Jutsu, Wild Lion's main jutsu. This technique uses chakra to temporarily enhance the head's metabolism and manipulate the hair that grows longer as a result of it. There is also chakra flowing through the lengthened hair, making its hardness comparable to that of steel wire. By thickly bundling the hair, its strength is further increased, also increasing its destructive power. This technique was apparently fundamental if he was to learn the next few justice. No Hari Jizo Ninja Art Needle Jizo NPO Hari Jigoku Ninja Art Needle Hell and Senpo Kabari Sanban Sage Art Hair Needle Sunban Hari Jizo is a technique where the user encases themselves in a countless number of sharp needles, but in truth the spikes are the user's hair chakra grants the strands of hair the hardness and shape of needles, endowed with a capacity to injure and kill on par with that of metallic weapons. In addition, if activated in response to an opponent's attack, it can also be used as a counter. The hair is made hard enough that it can withstand blows from certain types of weapons such as arrows. Hari Jigoku was fairly simple. After using Hari Jizo, extending his hair around his body, Naruto can shoot multiple hardened needle-like hair towards the enemy. As for Senpo Kabari Sanban, this technique essentially hardens the hair on the user's head and shoots it continuously at the enemy. At the same time that Naruto needs the chakra needed for senjutsu and fires the hair needles, Gamakichi and Gamatsu activate Naruto's hair roots, causing the hair to grow at an accelerated rate, thus making limitless rapid fire possible. The sharpened points of the hair can turn the target's entire body into a pincushion. The sheer speed of this technique makes it the fastest attack with the widest range possible in Sage mode to Jiraiya and Na. Another productive 7 months passed by training in Enjutsu. Naruto's muscles had become fully toned and his hair looked like a copy of his father's. His clothes were a mess because of countless A-rank and S-rank justice being thrown around Myobokuzen. Jiraiya went back to the real world to get him some new clothes piece by piece. First was a new jumpsuit with more black than orange. Then came a short-sleeved hari that was red with black flamme-like motifs at the bottom. Naruto planned to reveal his heritage to the world during the finals. So his plan was to just change the design of his cloak and color of his jumpsuit and sandals. Add a flak jacket and voila, He looked like his father. Manado had chuckled when he was told the plan. However, there was more to it. His new sandals also had the jutsu Sha of the horizon, so he could tag people with it without them knowing. When he returned to real world, nearly 2 weeks had passed in the 14 months while he was in Myoboku training. He then went on another date with Yugito before leaving for his next session. He was reversed summoned to Desoju Dasho Tree, the home of the foxes, for more training. He learned a few Kaiden and Raiden justice from Ana along with several collaboration in jutsus. For example, when she used fire, he would use wind, while he would use water if she used lightning. Training went well in there. He learned to master Kurama's power, which included more powerful Futon Jutsu and Kaiden Jutsu, all shrank in terms of destruction. Of course, he used a barrier to prevent destroying Deso, the same thing he did with Myobokuin. There he learned even more variants of the Ringan and the Biju Dharma while increasing the duration of his tailed beast transformation to 20 minutes at one go. He mastered partial transformation, allowing him to manifest chakra arms or parts of Kurama's body. Then he learned even more justice like Bu Shojia Tailed Beast Shockwave Keiabi Kosen Ninetails Beam Keiabi Tatsumaki Ninetails Twister and Renzoku Biju Dharma Tailed Beast Bomb Barrage. The first allowed him to turn anything from a roar to a wave into a powerful force of pressure and destruction. The second letted him shoot a beam of concentrated chakra which could cut through many objects like stone and metal. There was an extension of this jutsu, the Amino Hoko Keiabi Kosen Spear of Heaven Nine Tails Beam, which allowed him to fire multiple beams at once from a ring in front of the fox avatar's mouth. The third was possible with a swipe of his claws. Kurama can create a tornado which could do massive damage. The last lets him fire multiple uncompressed tailed beast balls in rapid succession at the target. In all, pretty destructive training. Luckily, this time he didn't wear his new clothes. Instead, he brought along spares. After another 14 months of grueling training, he returned to the real world. Another 2 weeks had passed. It was the Chunin exam finals tomorrow. Some light reading and a heavy dinner was in order after eating healthy but disgusting foods from both summoning realms. They weren't for human consumption after all. Meanwhile, thoughts ran through Dao's mind. That bastard Orochimaru had played him for a fool a month ago, sending his team to take out Sasake, who had the Ten Nojuin, something they weren't informed of beforehand. How dare he? It was time to put a proverbial spoke in the wheel, throw a wrench into the gears, or a spanner in the works. He decided to kill Orochimaru's weapon for the invasion, Sabaku Nogara. He snuck up on the unsuspecting Genin and stabbed him from behind. However, a wall of sand blocked the sharp instrument from reaching its intended target. The sand traveled up the kanai and onto Dosu's arm before it wrapped around his whole body. "Ah! What are you doing to me?" he cried. Gar said, "Your blood is worthless." Sabaku Sand Prison. The sand encased Dao with only his face visible, rising up into the sky above the redhead where he had the joy of seeing who he was about to kill. He chuckled lowly. Sabaku Soso Sand Burial. The next morning, when Naruto woke up, he sprung off the bed in enthusiasm. Today was going to be exciting. Yet, the foreboding of the invasion kept him from bursting from the excitement. He donned his new jumpsuit and pulled the haori over it. Meeting Makoto in the kitchen, he smiled at her. "Ka-chan. Today there'll be an invasion. Watch out." "Okay," Na said. Makoto nodded but laughed when he saw his attire. Today will be a day of great change. Omake. Deleted scenes. So, it is him. Well, then do not summon me again unless there's something to fight or you have sake with you. As a matter of fact, I do, Naruto said as a black aura surrounded him. Bones, musculature, then armor formed as he manifested Susanoo. Tatsuka no Tsurugi Na yelled, a giant gourd appearing in his hand, ripping off the wooden cork. He grinned as sake spilled out in the form of a fiery blade. "All you can drink, sake," Gamabunta cried, drinking from it like a fountain. That is until he was sucked into Genjutsu world of the gourd. So guys, what do you think about this Naruto story? Tell me your opinion in the comments. And if you want more Naruto what if stories, make sure to subscribe to Universe of Naruto. Thanks for watching.